Blackheart, and welcome to Gimme a Whole Yeah! I hope everyone checking this out in Yorkshire and beyond is having a great day.
Hello everyone and Merry Christmas. It's Dan, it's Sunday, so it's a whole year hangout. And not just one, it's Christmas. We're spoiling you. We've got 2 special guests and maybe more coming in the future. So first I'm going to bring in one of our regulars. He's always here on a Sunday night. It's Sam. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm always here. You're putting me over a bit much there these days. As Andy will agree, I've had a very, very, very busy few months, which is why people haven't seen a huge amount of me. But hopefully 2025, the Sunday night things, the Friday night things can be a little bit more regular. And I've got my own irons in the fire with the podcast as well. So yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm kind of, I don't know about you, I'm extending out Christmas Eve over several days. If that makes sense. I've been a bit ill. I'm feeling a little bit man flu-y, but I'm coping, and Bailey's helps. So there we are.
I'll get to my drink in a second, but the other special guest we've got on, it's Wrestling Royalty's very own Andy Spores. How are we doing?
I'm part of Wrestling Royalty, but like I'm not from Yorkshire, so I obviously can't join Whole Year officially. But no, it's good to be here. And thank you very much for calling me a special guest, because I am a very special guest.
You are a special boy. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say though, Andy, I'm technically from Lancashire. Yorkshire's just somewhere. Lancashire, or what as the Americans say, Yorkshire, Lancashire. Thank you, Shotzi Blackheart. But yeah, I'm a Lancs lad. We're the guys who won the Wars of the Roses, by the way. Anyone in America who's watching, this is what winners look like. But we won't hold it over you, Dan.
No one remembers you though.
That's true. No one remembers them either. It was 500 years ago, and
yeah.
And isn't it funny that it was 2 warring northern houses, yet the Southerners are always still somehow in charge. Funny that. But yeah, over to you.
So, what are you drinking tonight, Andy?
I am on the very hard stuff of a pint of water. I'm in marathon training, so I can't lose too much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've got something called French Martini. It's a cocktail sour beer with vanilla, raspberry, and pineapple.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
That does actually sound pretty good.
That can is beautiful as well.
It's a good.
So I haven't opened it yet. I've saved it ready for stream so you can see what my first taste is like shortly. So before I get to that, I'm just finishing off some vanilla Coke.
Oh, vanilla Coke. I like a bit of cherry Coke. I think that's the nicest flavour that they do.
God tier.
Oh no. I've never been a big fan of the cherry flavour stuff. Don't know why, but
yeah, it's nice to pop a can of cherry.
No Christmas jumper.
No, instead I'm representing a very, very good English and northeast-based wrestling, which is North Wrestling.
Love that.
So yeah, yes. I'm representing and it's a really cool T-shirt. Actually, I can't get it. I'll have to get it like over my face to show you. It's got like a pyramid and everything.
That's cool.
It's like Illuminati.
Yeah, it says on it, not a cult. So that's their whole thing is not a cult, but it is absolutely a cult. But yeah, North Wrestling, fantastic. If you get a chance next year, I'm hoping to get the guys from Gimme a Whole Year to come up and experience one. I know a lot of people outside of the UK have probably heard of Rev Pro, probably even heard of Progress as well. But North Wrestling, which is based up in Newcastle, the guy who owns it, Andrew Bowers, is a really cool guy, and he's actually doing a lot of work with Progress. So it's there's a lot of going on. Leon Slater is currently the champion of North Wrestling.
Yes, he's a whole lad, I think.
He is based somewhere around there, because I know he's done a lot with Liam Slater, hasn't he? So that's Yorkshire way. Yeah,
really cool. I'm just swapping the keyboards around, so I've got my solid keyboard too.
He's also because he's a TNA guy. He also won the TNA One to Watch in 2025. As well, yes. I think this week or last week. So that's quite exciting. With him being on the roster of, what's the 3rd biggest wrestling company in the West. That's, it's the only way is up for Mr. Slater.
Yeah,
And the
I
other,
expect big things for him because, as you say, he's been voted for TNA, the one to watch. But they've even started baking that into some of the storyline up here. Is that he's got a little bit too sort of like big for himself, and he started talking down to the crowd. And the promo that Gene Money, who had a match against him at NTL 50, which is their latest pay per view, he said, like how many you've missed a load of matches this year, how many matches you're going to miss next year because your star's rising. So it's a really cool thing that they're kind of like baking in other promotions and like kind of really feeding into it, because it's nice to see talent go across and do really well. Obviously, Will Ospreay is doing some great stuff over in AEW and gets a lot of acclaim for his matches. But outside of that, I think it's cool to see some British talent getting over elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. At the minute, we've got Mark in, not the guest. I mean, you're more than welcome to come on at some point if you want, Mark. Not a problem.
I don't even know what Mark looks like, by the way.
no, me neither. Mark, as far as I'm concerned, you're like Liverpool
Batman.
FC's logo made sentient. That's all I know. So, but what do they have? Dan, you'll know. You're a Liverpool fan. Is it like an eagle or a phoenix?
Live
bird.
It's a lion and a bird. So there you go. You're some kind of
Live
chimera, Mark. You're some kind of lion bird chimera.
I haven't gone posh on you at all. It's just a beer from Sainsbury's.
Sainsbury's. He's
Sainsbury's.
how much money is he earning to shop at Sainsbury's, guys? Like this, he used to be an Aldi boy.
That's what this Gimme a Whole Yeah money's all about.
Is that what it is? Oh, that's where it's going. Is it? All right. Okay.
Hollywood Dan.
Hollywood Dan has gone Hollywood.
Plans for this week, guys. Start with Andy. What you got planned for the week?
Eat, drink, and be merry, I guess. But it won't be drinking much alcohol. But I'll be eating a lot and running a lot, and hopefully watch a bit of wrestling as well. But it's getting hard because the network's gone, right?
Going. It's still there.
I got an email saying it's like my subscription, like literally yesterday, saying,
"Oh yeah, you'll get an
expired.
email, but you can still go in." Because I got that email too, but then I went and tested it out, and it let me watch main event earlier tonight. So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Fair enough. Yeah,
we've got.
Hey, Tom talks
rubbish in. What about yourself, Sam? What you got planned?
Well, Christmas Day, I always go around my mum's. Me and Jess always go around my mum's. We're having them all here Christmas Eve. Boxing Day, I'm going to do absolutely nothing. New Year's Eve, I'm going to do absolutely nothing. But yeah, between now and then, I've a few days off. I'm not doing anything for Deserto. We're not doing anything. I've got some articles scheduled to go live for Deserto, of course. I don't think I'm going to do anything Screensphere or WrestleSphere related this week. I think I might just relax and not do anything at all. So, but yeah, just a bit of time off. Might catch up with some video games. Like Andy said, watch a bit of wrestling. I watched Ring of Honor's pay-per-view the other night. Some stuff I really liked, some stuff I didn't really like. World's End is next weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. I think just a bit of resting, really. I kind of want a bit of peace and to get over this bug that I've been trying to shake for 2 weeks. So yeah, there you go. Barely been to the gym, barely been for a swim, barely done all of the stuff that usually keeps me going and keeps me fueled. So it'd be nice to try and do that tomorrow.
I haven't done any of that either, but I haven't done it for the past 36 years.
Well, there you go. It's not like you missed a no days off then.
No. But no, with Tom in, I just wanted to say that I think my interview went live a couple of days ago. On Tom Talks Rubbish.
We might have heard about it on Twitter. Sorry, Dan, I interrupted you. We might have heard about it on Twitter, Tom.
I've shared it out a few times, and I've put a link to that in the chat, and I've also put a link to Andy Spores as well.
Oh yeah,
because that one only came out just over a week ago.
Yeah, we've got a double header for Gimme a Whole Yeah.
I know. Not a bad way to end the year. But yeah, if you haven't already, go check out Tom Talks Rubbish. Interviews with interviewer of the interviewers, in a way, I think.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that's a niche of the market that Tom has kind of sewn up now. And even Sean Ross Sapp has been on Tom's show. Pretty much anyone who's anyone. It's called self-promotion, Tom, I think, mate. I don't know if you've ever looked at my Twitter feed, mate. I'm all about self-promotion. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, I appreciate the hustle, mate. And I just thought it was funny because I'm like, this week it's been like, on all the retweets, by the way, on Gimme a Whole Yeah, that's me, by the way. So I'm
not all of them added a lot earlier on.
Oh, did you? All right, fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough. It's usually me retweeting.
And then the other one I'm just going to find and put in for Tom, just so everyone's had a bit of promotion, is an interview that was done about a year ago, and it was with Jess Smith.
Who's that? Who's that? I've never heard. Who's that?
The Better Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly,
yeah.
She's going to get a fair few more views than me. Funny that. I wonder why that might be, but okay.
Because she speaks more sense.
Maybe that and the blonde hair and a few other things. But
the sensible Smith. That can be what it is.
That's not right. You won't get any disagreement from me. I know she's watching this as well right now, so she's lurking. She's staying quiet, but she got a few shout outs actually, Dan, in your interview, didn't she? She got one about. You called her out by being better in bed than her at one point, like read into that what you will.
Yes.
And then I was telling her that I was like, oh, Dan was calling you right out the other day on Tom Talks Rubbish. And then I think there was another one about her being a little bit into wrestling, but I think it's got more just following wrestling. It's got more about Finn Balor's abs than actually what goes on in the ring. But she'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah. I know a few people like that, I think. I mean, I watch Finn Balor for the abs myself.
Well,
That
yeah,
says it all.
look at the guy. Look at the guy. Ridiculous.
Tom just asked, was that the LA thing? It was, Tom. Just so people are aware, Sam said that I was better in bed than his wife.
At sleeping. Like Dan and I have shared a bed all week.
I'm a better bed partner.
He's amazing. He doesn't hog the duvet. He doesn't snore. He doesn't sweat. He doesn't do anything at all. He's just like he's there, and it's like
gives a reach around.
Doesn't do anything. That's what's so good about him, Andy. You don't know he's there. It's brilliant. It's like when I go to bed with my wife, every now and then I've got the duvet will slowly be taken off me. Then she'll punch me for saying this, but then there's the sleep talking. The other night, she asked me if I'd remembered to feed the horse. We don't have a horse, but I told her yes anyway because I didn't want to get into an argument. But yeah, so there you go.
Does Dan have softer hands, though?
Does Dan have what?
Softer hands.
That's the thing, Andy. I don't know.
All the time.
I don't know because he didn't lean over and touch me. Like he might have done. I might have not known about it, but I don't remember. Dan rolls over and that's it. Lights out for 8 hours. It's amazing. It's like, wow. Your missus, Dan, must be absolutely like, this is the easiest situation ever. Just peace on earth.
I mean, I'm going to clip this and I'm just going to play this bit to her where you're just sort of praising me in bed.
She's watching. She'll be watching. I'll come to bed tonight and she'll be like, you prick. You can't believe you told them about the horse thing.
But no, I mean, for tonight, we've got 2 segments. One of them is going to be quite long. But we've got a quiz at the end, as we always do, for a hangout. Some of the questions are relatively simple. Some of them are quite tricky for people. It depends on what your knowledge is. So the last couple that we've done, the person that's been on the podcast with me has ended up finishing last. So Sam's got a target to beat of 2nd place.
So
yeah, you have tradition going, buddy.
You know what? I always do really, really well on those things until like question 4. Then I go from like the top spot for like the last spot, and it's like, how the hell did this happen? But anyway, can you get Ant on, please? Daz, mate.
We'll try. We will try, dude. Don't worry.
We've all messaged him, mate, but it's Ant's on Ant time. So there you go, and he's probably with his family. So,
yeah,
he's got the invite. It's an open house for all the hosts. This one. So he was here last year though, so you never know.
I've messaged him again. Just tell him to get on. So hopefully he will.
Cool.
Tom's just put thanks to us guys for always supporting Tom, being kind and always helping you. Not a problem. Sorry for being in a pain in your mentions.
You're not at all. You're not, mate. You're not.
You're
not at all. Yeah, I promise you, you're not at all. It was just a case of this week I was like, oh, it's Dan again. Oh, what's he saying now?
It's a pleasure each time we get asked, I think. And I think I can probably speak for everyone that we're happy to chat to you as much as you want to chat to us. If you want to do it again, we might be able to try and do a group thing at some point, so we can sort of on each other if you like.
Yeah,
happy carnage that.
It was carnage last
That's
time.
what I
Last
think
time
it'd
we
be
were
fun.
all in the same room together. Yeah. Well, that picture, I think I put, it's the poster I always, it's the picture I always post. But the one of us outside at SoFi Stadium, like we were drinking 9% beer there that Anthony got from the shop. So we were like, Jesus, like we're going to be rat-arsed, Ant, by the time we even go in. How are we going to get through security with all this? Because we can't bring them in. We have to drink them. And it's like, how are we going to be? Any of us are going to be walking straight and finding our seat after this? But yeah, there, we did it. But yeah, carnage, absolute carnage.
I think that was the only reason we enjoyed night 2, because it was just not booked anywhere near as good as the first.
We had better seats though, I think, didn't we? Night 2, we with closer seats, so that was pretty cool.
Yep, we are now on Blue Sky, so if you want to check that out, I'm on there, Sam's on there, I think, Ant's on there. Are you on there, Andy?
I am on there. I can't say I've used it yet. I think I used it. We know when they had this big thing where Twitter's gonna get like everyone's gonna move, so I set an account up and then we'll see. I might
see what happens. Yeah, because I agree. I'm not 100% sure that part of me thinks this is like, now look, I didn't want him to win either, but I can't help thinking this whole thing is one big tantrum about what happened in November. So now their tantrum lasted 4 years when Biden won. So it'll be interesting to see how long this tantrum lasts. But we joined Blue Sky, and I agree with a lot of the sentiment, but we all use Twitter for work. We can't just abandon it straight away. It doesn't work like that. So let's see where we go. Anyway. Yeah, we didn't know who made the account. No, that's the thing, Mark. I had no idea who made it. I was like, right, Dom hasn't made it. And it's not me, because I'm the guy who does a lot of the social media stuff. That's kind of like my job. So I was like, well, I didn't do it. And if Dan hasn't done it and Dom hasn't done it, who the hell has done it? Because it won't be Anthony. So like, who's done this? I was trying to figure out, because I couldn't see the email on the Gimme a Whole Year email. I was like, so I'm scratching my head. So eventually it was Dan. I think Dan did it one late night, didn't you? So there you go.
I think I did it after a Monday Night Raw one night, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, I'll just do it now while I've got a couple of minutes.
Got the news boys. SmackDown's going to 3 hours. Yeah, good job. Yes. I don't do Friday nights anymore. I'm not gonna, because now would be the time. Sam made his exit, but anyway, there we are.
So we are actually for best of 2024. We've got a few different sort of ideas. What we've got debut of the year, moment of the year, female superstar of the year, and a load more. And what I've done is I have put it together in a little slideshow, and we're going to have each person talk for 30 seconds about why that person should be the winner of that segment or that title, if you like. So the first one we did, and what I'm going to do is put a poll up on YouTube for each one, and you're going to help us decide. So the first one is the debut of the year. So for the first one, who picked who? So Sam picked the Wyatt 6 because Dom isn't here. This is kind of why I was trying to hope Dom would come on, because I know he'd get a 30-second time limit and then spend 3 hours talking.
Cheers, Mark. Glad Mark's here.
Very much. So 30 seconds, Wyatt 6, go for it.
Yeah, so I don't need to say much. That it hasn't been brilliant since then. Dom would disagree with me, but I think they've kind of they messed up quite early on, I'd say. But that debut, the smoke, the bodies, the way they did it, the weird Chad Gable being murdered, all of that, it was just cinema. It was just cinema. And I don't think anyone's topped that in terms of spectacle this year.
Nice, you're actually on time for a change.
Did you ever doubt me?
You put this timer on specifically to stop Sam from taking up the majority of the show, right? I knew
exactly.
and what's hilarious though is you think that's going to work. That's what's hilarious. I'm only just getting started.
I've got a mute button as well, and I've got a remove.
Hey, I'm a mod too. Remember that. This is going to go to circa 2022 levels of insanity if we start messing around with with that one.
I know, but that's what's fun. Wait till I start getting some of that in me, and then we'll be going all the way till 3 o'clock in the morning.
We need Dom for that though, because we need Anthony and Dom, because then they start going at each other, and that's when it gets funny. That's when somebody's going to hit that mute button and then get in between them. Like one of us has to be the parents, but yeah.
And I'm going to let Andy have 2 goes on this one, because he did say Julia or Jacob Fatu, and then I will go for Will Ospreay. So first one,
30 seconds each, or 30 seconds with both?
Each. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
So 30 seconds. Start with Jacob Fatu. There we go.
All right. Okay. So with Jacob Fatu, I think a lot of people were kind of already getting a little bit bored of the bloodline, and I think he injected a lot of sort of fresh blood and a lot of like fresh ideas into it, to the point now where his kind of debut and his like everything being in the company has led to a lot of reaction of I want to see Jacob Fatu versus CM Punk. I want to see Jacob Fatu versus Bron Breakker or something like that. So yeah, in limited opportunities now he's here in the company.
Nice. Yeah, I think that, Jacob Fatu is one that's going to be further down the line, dream match after dream match. The face-off that he had, was it Bron Breakker, where they just squared up?
Yeah.
The crowd went nuts for it. And yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is give you a couple of minutes, I'll say a couple of minutes, a minute or two, to think about what you want to say for Julia, because I'm going to go for Will Ospreay. At least you have a little break in between.
Yes.
So Will Ospreay, I've got 30 seconds. Will Ospreay, for the past, I would probably say 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, has been one of the most exciting wrestlers in the UK, then in New Japan. And to see him on a mainstream US audience stage at AEW, I think dream matches. We've had Ricochet, we've got that we've had on Dynamite was in. So yeah, bring him to any show you can. Yeah, it wasn't me that picked Will Ospreay, but we haven't got anyone else to cover it, so I thought, why not? And we've got Julia in a second from Andy. There you go.
Yeah, so I picked Julia as well, because I feel like she is kind of like the epitome of what's going on in NXT right now, and this kind of new wave of the women's wrestling in NXT. And I think her and Stephanie Vaca are going to usher in this new era, not just for NXT, but for WWE in the future as well. So I think her kind of turning up and kind of going straight into the main event scene and everything we've seen since, I think she's been an absolute standout in that women's division, which is just getting better and better every week under Shawn Michaels.
Thank you very much. I don't know who's on the Gimme Hull. Yeah, I think it might. Oh yeah, it'll be Mark. Saying I cut out a little. I'm not sure if I did or not, but did you hear anything cut out, guys?
Yeah, just for it was only like a second, but yeah, still knew it was.
I'll keep my eye on it. Let's have a look on the YouTube poll. It's very, very tired. We've got 27%. Jacob Fatu, Julia, and Will Ospreay, and the White Six is only 18%.
Philistines.
It was a cool debut, to be fair. In terms of like the actual debut itself, I think undisputedly you probably would have the White Six, because of just that moment was so talked about and so well like maneuvered for a live show. That was crazy, like to go into that level. But in terms of what they've done since, if you look at it as a debut from like kind of moving on, that's probably where they fall down a little bit compared to the other ones, because like Will Ospreay's been putting on like amazing matches like everyone knew he would. Jacob Fatu's kind of like, it's more the promise of what's to come and the initial impact. And then Julia, as I said, I think she's kind of like tying it into how well the women's wrestling side of things go in NXT. So there's like, it's kind of how you look at debut, but like in terms of that moment, I think that probably was one of the coolest ones.
Yeah, I can probably agree with that. Watching it live, I think I actually watched it with Dom, because he was actually on the stream with me, and just every single part of the theatrics, the production values, it just absolutely changed what a debut could be. Yeah, I mean, we've got a 4-way tie now, but Jacob, it's going all over the place. Jacob Fatu's just jumped up to 31%. We've got 13 votes. And any final words on any of them, Sam?
No, I think all four of them are. I think all four of them were pretty amazing. So like they were all four I highly anticipated. A little bit less with Ospreay because we'd seen him in AEW before a bunch of times doing different things. Julia, I had a bit of apprehension about how NXT would book her compared to how Stardom have booked her and other people. Like they have dumbed her down a little bit, almost certainly. But that doesn't mean she's any a worse character or anything like that. She's not quite as violent and doesn't have the shades of grey that she had in Stardom. But it doesn't matter because they're booking her as a kick-ass babyface, and that's exactly how they should be doing it. Jacob Fatu, I was a little bit worried that he might outshine Solo Sikoa, which is why they've done the whole "I love you, Solo" thing. But it's been great. Like he was the obvious choice when it came. I think he was the centerpiece of the new bloodline, and it'll be interesting to see when Solo is inevitably supplanted by a much bigger star, as I suspect is going to happen pretty soon. It'll be interesting to see if Fatu joins him or not, or is Fatu the one who does it and then goes, "I did it for The Rock." But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think all four of them have got an absolutely fantastic shout to have debut of the year. For me, out of the four, the White Six to me was the most impactful at the time. And yeah, going further down their story, it has seemed to have tailed off a little bit in terms of what we actually had originally to where we are now. Jacob Fatu, I think, is still got a lot of mystique about him. Ospreay, we know we saw him in AEW previously, but it wasn't an official sort of debut. But now we've got him, and I mean, Julia, if Misfit was here, he'd be screaming. He'd be logging into 25 different accounts to make sure Julia won this, I think.
Yeah, he would. Oh, I remember. I was thinking as well when Julia debuted and lost. I was like, "Oh, he is not going to be happy." Do I dare? Do I dare look at his Twitter? I'm certainly not going to do I told you so moment, but I told you so. I can say it now that the heat has died down. But yeah, I remember thinking that was the first thing I thought when that pin happened. I was like, "Oh dear, we are going to have one angry misfit."
Yeah, I mean, Max saying, "Please, Fatu, say he did it for the Tooth Fairy."
Shrek meme.
So I'm going to stop the poll there. And at the minute, we've had 16 votes. And the winner was actually Will Ospreay with 31%.
Oh, you AEW marks. You bunch of Wednesday night marks. Liar.
Yeah, I think Misfit will hit that poll as well. See Julia only get 25%.
He's just blocked us based on that poll alone. He's done.
The next one that we have got, we are going for a OMG moment of the year. And I'm going to read through the sort of bits that we've got. We've got Paul Heyman being put through the table. We have got the final few minutes of the Night 2 main event of WrestleMania. We have got the return of Roman Reigns. We have got the Hell in a Cell match, or, well, basically CM Punk. But I don't think that's a moment of the year, but I think the match is probably what we would class in that. We've got Damian Priest tying himself up at Clash at the Castle. And then we've got Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes Moné all choosing AEW. So, yeah, with this one, there is 6 different ones. And what I'm going to do to make it easy is, Andy, you picked the final few minutes of WrestleMania. You picked Roman Reigns' return, Sam. And I'm going to go for Paul Heyman through the table. So we've got 30 seconds for each because I don't want to drag it out super long. And if we did, we've got 3 minutes there. So this one, I'm going to let you go first, Andy. So you've got 30 seconds talking about the final few minutes of WrestleMania Night 2.
Yeah, I think we all saw, like, we all knew something was going to happen in terms of how it was going to go, in terms of people coming back, etc. But how they actually executed it, that was one of the reasons, just prime example of why I love wrestling. It's so over the top. It's, when it's firing like that, it's amazing. And I just personally like seeing like that moment between Undertaker and Rock was so cool. Like the fans were really into it. Being there live, I think added an extra layer to it. But then watch it back, I think everyone else at home absolutely got it, and it was just knocked out of the park.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Watching it live, I was streaming it, so I wasn't obviously there in person with you, but in spirit, yeah.
Yes, oh, sorry, Dan, go ahead. Sorry, mate, I thought you were...
Just every single part of it just built and built and built until, you've just had absolute crazy spectacle from the last sort of like 5 minutes of the match. Yeah, Sam?
Jess and I were watching it at home the next morning because we didn't watch it live. We kind of got up, went to the gym, did everything, came back, and we sat down and we nailed it. And when we were watching that bit of it, it was like popcorn was going up in the air. Seniors music hits. We're like, oh my god! Like we're expecting it to be a schmoz. We're expecting all the bloodline. We're expecting Sami Zayn to come out, maybe Kevin Owens, Randy Orton to help out Cody as well. Weren't expecting Cena. Weren't expecting bloody Undertaker. Obviously, we were expecting The Rock, but we weren't quite expecting it to be. But it really leaned into the ridiculousness of it, though. It felt like an Attitude Era segment in many ways. Like I think if they ever did a third match between Roman and Cody as a decider, as a rubber match, I wouldn't like any interference. I'd like them to do it completely straight. But it's every now and then, it's like, because my father-in-law saw a bit of that match as well, and he was like, this is ridiculous. Like, is he always like this? And I was like, no. I said, but I love it when it is. Because sometimes this is what we want. Sometimes that makes it a great match because there are so many ridiculously stupid moments. And it was a silly, silly match, but it was the culmination of so many different moments. It was beautiful. And I've watched it so many times since then, and I still love it. It's incredibly silly, but it's the best kind of silly. And wrestling can get away with that audaciousness where other things can't.
I should have given you the 30 seconds. You did a better job than me.
I like all of these. I could give you reams on all of these, but wait till I get to mine.
Well, if you're ready, go for it.
So we all knew Roman was coming back eventually. It was obvious. And we also probably, that most of us figured out it was going to be that moment as well. It just made sense. But when that new theme hit, that new T-shirt, that new everything, it just came together beautifully. And even though we knew it was coming, just him coming back, it was the catharsis of it. And last time we saw it, he was a conquered villain. And this time we had the promise of him being what WWE have always wanted him to be, a babyface Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Again, I can't really disagree with any of that. Roman now is the person that I think that Vince wanted him to be.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that, it's not crazy because they did exactly the same with The Rock. Ending this massive, ultra cheesy baby face into this absolute badass heel.
Yeah.
Goes away and then comes back as the absolute baby face the company really wanted him to be originally.
I saw a meme. Yeah, I saw a meme that summed it up beautifully. And it said 2014 WWE fans, I hate Roman Reigns, yeah. And then beneath it said 2024 WWE fans, at your service, my tribal chief. And it was like, yeah, what a difference a decade makes. And these are the same people as well. It just goes to show sometimes if you can't move with the crowd all of the time, because then the fans just become spoiled brats. But you do sometimes have to kind of test the water and read the room. And like Roman Reigns has always been this good. He's always been excellent. But yes, they were booking him in a way that was like, oh, stop. Where him becoming the biggest villain in the company was always a natural role for him. Now, as a character who's not the biggest villain anymore and might have a chance of earning his redemption. Now, he's far from that. He's started the road, but he's still got a long road to go. This is great storytelling. Like, he's still not cozy. He's still a bit of a dick, but it's kind of nice that it's fun now to see him mixing with Sami Zayn again, and what's that influence going to be? And he's back with Jimmy and Jay again, and they've set parameters on their relationship. Jay insists on his own entrance and all of that. Only does We the Ones on his terms. So it's, him having that agency is a big part of it. Like Roman's still a little bit uncomfortable with not being where he used to be. And Joe Anoa'i is doing an excellent job at portraying that character. Does a little bit too much with the muscles in his jaw, in his lip.
They've given this the thing though. This, like you said, you kind of it was Vince. This is what Vince's want, but like Vince didn't understand like this age of audience, because all he had to do was go, right, what's he good at? What's he bad at? He's good at looking like a very handsome guy in the ring, quite imposing. Don't give him a microphone. Make him be a heel for a while. They got him over by taking him out and not having him on screen, which is what he put him on screen every week and made him beat every single person. And when has that worked? They didn't work with John Cena. Like, that's why a lot of people back then didn't like him, and it didn't work with Roman. And it started to, and you can see people don't like it with Cody and people don't like it with Seth. So anytime they try and deliberately push people, that's when people push back. And that's always been the thing. And that's why taking Cody out potentially for a couple of weeks now because of the Kevin Owens attack, absolutely the right thing to do. Because yes, you want your champion and your babyface champion to be visible, but what they don't want is they're every week saying the same things over and over again. They've taken the microphone off of Roman Reigns and given it to Paul Heyman, who's a better talker, probably one of the best talkers of all time, and just let Roman stand there when he's there and soak it all up. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to be this guy who beats every single person and talks to every single person. Just let him be intimidating. Done. Yeah. And that's how he got over.
Yeah. And it's the character work as well with Roman. It's the... like he was despicable and cowardly as the champion, and what was the tragedy of that is we saw him as the guy beating everyone every week, so we know he can do it. We know he can actually do it. So it was tragic with him being so cowardly. Where now he actually has to fight again and remember how to be that guy, and it's fun watching it. And I don't want Roman Reigns to ever go back to suckering Succotash. I don't ever want him to go back to the smirking about her big dog, about his willy and things like that. I don't want him to go back to being that guy. I want him to go back to... I want him to stay how he is right now, but be a babyface. And that's how they've done it in the past with Rollins, for example. This version of Rollins, this Joker Rollins almost, isn't the shucks Rollins we had when he was up against Brock Lesnar. Becky Lynch didn't go back to her "look how wacky and Irish I am" gimmick. And when she turned face again, when she was going to be the bad guy, not Charlotte Flair, the crowd chose her, but they kept her heel persona, the man persona, and just made her a face. So sometimes turn them heel and keep that persona, but make them be a good guy. And that is the WWE have got really good at knowing when you do that with somebody and when you keep that persona, because the shucks babyface doesn't always work. People like a little bit of edge and a bit of humanity, because we just don't buy it. It's and Roman's yet again living proof of that in practice.
I mean, that was a complete sort of tangent from where we was actually meant to be going. Because I still haven't done my 30 seconds on Paul Heyman.
Go.
For me, Paul Heyman being put through the table was something that, one, I don't think anyone would have ever expected. Two, I don't think that we would have seen him off screen for as long as we did. And I mean, Paul Heyman isn't known for taking bumps. To see him get properly powerbombed through a table, it just, to me, was a complete shock. And that's why, for me, out of everything, it was the OMG moment of the year for me. There we go. 30 seconds, nice and easy. So Roman Reigns run away with the pole on the first set. In there was, where is it? Roman's return, Priest caught in the ropes, or Heyman through a table. Roman won that one. And then the second part was Undertaker's return. That's got 75% of the vote on that one. Mercedes Moné's debut and Punk's Anaconda Vice with the beads. So we will have a very quick poll, which will be Taker's return or Roman's return, if you don't mind, Mark. While Mark is doing that, I have got a little video that we have been playing when I've been doing my Monday Night Raws from Hot Tag Foundation. So if you'll just give me a quick minute, guys, I'll just pop you on mute. There we go. So Hot Tag Foundation, it is basically a foundation that's been set up. It's non-profit, so there's no profits for the foundation at all. It's still good across the wrestling community in the UK. They have been doing the Toil Rumble. If you scan the QR code, they will help give the gift of pro wrestling this Christmas. And their absolute motto is you've just got to reach out. Facebook, Instagram, scan the QR code. There is plenty of information on there. So go check them out, give them a follow, show them guys some support because they are doing absolutely phenomenal work. Thank you very much. So on there, we've got 3 votes on there. We'll give it another minute on there just because it's been a very quick poll on this one. Reigns' return and Undertaker's return. And now we've got a quick minute. I'm going to have a mouthful of this beer, see what this is like. Because like I said, you look at that can, that is all of the neons.
It's very 80s, 70s sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've just been brought a cup of tea. I'm very grateful.
Ooh,
How very
nice.
English of you.
I know, yeah. It's a chamomile tea, actually. So it's kind
Not
of...
a Jam and Toast one.
No, this isn't a jam. Oh, yeah, by the way. Okay, speaking of a tangent. By the way, folks, if you're not having a little look at our Twitter right now and have a little look at some of Dom's unhinged requests to Yorkshire.
Why he's not here? He's outside Yorkshire Tea, like just picketing them.
Yeah, but what's funny is actual wrestlers have got involved now. So if you don't know, Dom loves jam on toast Yorkshire tea, and they've discontinued that particular flavour because absolutely nobody but Dom likes it. And Dom is now, he's bought countless crates of this stuff, which probably has a sell-by date. And he's now building boxes, he's building forts out of it and stuff like that. And he's using Batista memes saying, "Give me what I want, Yorkshire tea." It's all very funny. And Yorkshire Tea have actually responded as well. They're well aware of Dom. But the Yorkshire wild card, Ernest Boggs, we've interviewed him over on WrestleSphere. He's a nice guy, good wrestler. He's actually seen this because he uses Yorkshire Tea as part of his gimmick, uses their branding with their consent. And so he's now picked up on this. So now it's a 3-way rumble between Yorkshire Tea, Ernest Boggs, and Dom. And I'm just in the middle laughing at it because it's so bloody funny. But anyway, have a little look at that because it's been tickling me all week. And Dom's posts getting more and more and more unhinged.
As he always does.
Yeah, so it's dead funny.
So we've given it a few more minutes. We're still on 67% for Undertaker's return. So our OMG moment is the Undertaker's return at WrestleMania.
Yes, I won one.
Yay. So our next one, which I think is quite a limited list on this one, is Premium Live Event / Pay-Per-View of the Year. We've got All In London, we've got WrestleMania, and we've got AEW Revolution. So let's have a look. Sam picked All In, so I'll let Sam go for that one. Andy obviously picked WrestleMania because he was there. That might have had a bit of an influence on him. And Anne picked Revolution. So Sam, ready to talk about All In?
Yeah, and the only reason I kind of went with All In is because, and the only reason it edged out Mania is because I was there. Because Mania was phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
But All In, I've been at every All In London so far. And last year's was it was great being in the press pit. It was great being a few feet away from Dave Meltzer and people like that. But it was just the atmosphere this time. The crowd was a bit smaller, which made it a bit awkward at times. But like Nigel McGuinness coming back, MJF, Ospreay, people like that, you know, Ricochet popping up. There was just some moments this year that made it feel like a big deal. And I'm not entirely sure AEW should continue to do Wembley. I don't know if they sell enough seats, but it really is something special when you're there. It's the closest thing AEW have to WrestleMania, and because they're quite fond of doing it in London, it means we can go. It means I can be in the press pit and enjoy it. And I made a little bit of a faux pas. I meant well at the presser, which went relatively viral, but that did not colour, if anything, it did wonders for WrestleSphere. But it didn't colour my enjoyment of the event. Quite the opposite. It made me even more determined to do what I do with WrestleSphere and things like that. So it's just something I'm always going to remember. So what an experience.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I was at the first All In. Jack, who is another moderator on the channel, I was sat next to him, and absolutely amazing show. And I just think that the second year, there wasn't as big of a crowd, but in terms of match quality, you couldn't go very far wrong with that.
No, it was just great.
Revolution, Ant did put that one in, so I'll cover that for him. In terms of shows, again, I thought it was an absolutely phenomenal show. Ant did cover it, but it was Sting's final match. Retiring as the AEW Tag Team Champion with Darby, I think, if I remember rightly. Tony Storm, was that the one where Mariah May turned on her, or was that a bit later, I think?
I can't say I remember, mate. I'm just nipping away to get some tissue. Carry on. I won't be long.
No problem.
Was it not just, I think you're right. I think it was not just before that.
It might have been just before,
Yeah, and then they turned her and then they had the match at Revolution.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of shows, I'm sort of just going off what I'm sort of having a look on Wikipedia about it. But yeah, I think Ant would have been able to give this a hell of a lot better sort of promotion than I would. So if it doesn't win, I'm sorry, Ant, but you should have been here for it. But I mean, this one,
is that not AEW's slogan for their live shows? You should have been here for it.
I think so. But again, with this, I picked WrestleMania myself, but you'll put it in, Andy. So here you go, 30 seconds, go for it.
Well, I hope I do you proud. I've specifically said night 2. I mean, WrestleMania 40 was amazing in its totality, but night 2 in particular, the way it started with the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins bit, the way it tied that into the end as well. But you also had that Bayley versus Io Sky match, which I thought was really, really cool. And then you even had like a really fun, like hardcore match. That Philadelphia Street Fight was a pretty fun throwaway match. So I thought top to bottom, night 2 was just spectacular in terms of a big show, and it's what WWE does their best.
Yeah. I think for me, WrestleMania would edge out the other two for myself. But on the poll, 83% has gone all in London.
Oh, I told you were all Wednesday night marks, but I'm with you this time.
Yeah, I mean, all in London, from what I watched, was absolutely fantastic as a wrestling card. But for me, I want a little bit of everything. And that's where WrestleMania for me was the winner.
Yeah.
But I'm going to allow myself to be outvoted.
It's really difficult. I think AEW does a great job in putting on fantastic matches, but WrestleMania has been going, obviously, this was its 40th iteration, and it's just got it down to a T. Like, it just feels special. It's up there with, your Super Bowls, your World Cups, and it's just like it's more than wrestling. This is why they call themselves sports entertainment, because there's moments in there where you have celebrities or you have a bit of music. The Weeknd's doing the theme for it, and I just feel like when it comes to WrestleMania, like everything else is just trying to be as relevant as WrestleMania. Now, I'm not saying every WrestleMania has been amazing, because that would just be false. There's countless WrestleManias where it's fallen flat, but they are getting even better than they have been recently. Like, I think the last couple of WrestleManias, they've knocked out of the park. I expect them to do the same for Vegas. and we'll be having the same conversation hopefully next year, where it's up for a shout again as premium live event or pay-per-view of the year. But that being said, having Wembley as a venue gives some gravitas. So I think AEW absolutely did the right thing. It's not a surprise that they're not running it next year and it's going across to Texas and they're skipping a year. But I also think they're probably going to have the same problems across there. I don't think the market is there for those massive stadium shows. And maybe they've got to find a way to kind of build where the crowd is as good as the card that they put on.
Yeah. Let's have a look what the poll finishes on. 86%. We've got to give it to it. All in London has won this one. Premium live event / pay-per-view of the year. All in London 2024.
It's like with Mania.
Next one,
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was just going to say with Mania, it's always got the advantage because it's the biggest company's biggest show, so it's always going to edge out in my view everything else. That's the thing to beat, and I don't think anyone ever really does beat it. Like for me, like my All In thing was very, very personal. I think WrestleMania, like the last one that just went, was one of the best in a very long time in many, many ways. And I sometimes don't think WWE get enough credit for their match quality as well. So when WWE puts on a banger, sometimes it's a banger. The thing with WWE is we've had 30 years of them
not putting on bangers.
Well, no, just of the quality being so inconsistent with WWE. Something that is absolutely breathtaking can be followed by Baron Corbin and the dog food. But anyway, sorry, mate. Over to you.
No. Next one. This one, I think there's a few different calls for it, but it is entrance of the year. So we've got a couple from Backlash. We've got Randy Orton and we've got Jey Uso. We've got Roman at WrestleMania, The Rock's return as the final boss, and then we've got Will Ospreay at All In. And there's some great memories watching these live events and watching these entrances. From me personally, I'm a big fan, singing along every time someone comes out, if I'm not live streaming, obviously. And the problem with it is watching it live, when you've got other people in the house, you can't get into it as much. That's why if I'm ever at a live show, I will go mad. Who's going to buy to the final? Can't do 5. Out of the 5, which one was your least favourite? So,
I don't know enough about Ospreay's one to kind of make a comment, but I would feel like taking the AW one out would be a bit harsh. So Roman's probably, because it's just Roman's, same one, same thing.
I've got to ask the question, Dan. Are these specific from? Are these just in general? Because like Ospreay's entrance at All In with the Assassin's Creed stuff was god tier, like level entrance. Who did I pick, by the way? Are these just did I pick
Roman Reigns?
Did I pick Roman? Because I think with me, I was talking specifically when I did this about his return. I think I was like not so much the one we see him do every night on SmackDown, but I was thinking specifically that one because it was such a moment. But if I had to go for anybody who's winning entrances for consistency, I'm going with Jey Uso. Like I don't see how anyone can touch him at the moment.
That wasn't the question, but which one would you take out of them 5?
Randy,
even with the crowd singing along.
Yeah, because he's up against the others. Like it doesn't mean you've got a bad entrance, Randy, but you're up against people right now who.
But the best entrance of this year, you would take that out?
In terms of, here's the thing with Randy Orton's entrance, I've been watching it for decades. I don't know if I even look up from my phone now. When like, I'm always happy to see him. I think Randy's great. But Jey Uso's I watch every week. Roman Reigns.
You're talking specifically, this is the one from Backlash, right?
No. This is what I don't get. This is what I don't get.
Yeah, it's specifically the best entrance of the year.
Right, because I did say a minute ago, do we mean in general? And everyone said,
No,
yeah.
not in general.
No.
Like specifically these one-time entrances.
Right, so
Will Ospreay's had a Assassin's Creed gimmick. Jey Uso and Randy Orton, the crowd was insane.
It's Backlash in France, Sam.
right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, then yeah, you say every time. Still,
But which
Uso
one
and
would you?
I'm taking
saying
Randy out.
Take Randy out.
Still take Randy out. Okay.
I'm taking Randy out.
Because for me, I would have actually taken The Rock out. I like the new music, but it isn't such a big deal of him just stood there. Ospreay was incredible. Jey Uso and Randy Orton, the crowd just completely changed their entrances into a next level. And Roman just looked, I mean, when I say $1 million, I mean more like $1 trillion. It just looked absolutely phenomenal. And the one that I least enjoyed was The Rock. I'm being honest.
No, I get it. The Rock and Randy for me
Oh,
it's true. No, I agree. I think again, if we are talking about these specific entrances, like, yeah, no, I get it. It's amazing.
One of the reasons you just said though, Dan, and I would say it in my 30 seconds because I picked the Rock's one. The Rock's entrance in particular, you just said that he didn't have to do anything; he just stood there. That's why it's effing incredible because he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to put on a cosplay Assassin's Creed costume to get over and have people do flips next to him. The Rock literally came out with really cool graphics of lightning around him and just stood there and the place went nuts. I know it's a 2024 thing where people use the word aura, but like, my God, like The Rock's aura in that moment where he came out. And if you wanted to kind of take it a step further, he did an even better one for WrestleMania where he stood in amongst the flames that did the Brahma Bull. Like, but this one in particular, the way that we've been conditioned to hear The Rock's music and be like, oh, I'm going to sing along to it. They changed the cadence of it so you couldn't be like, oh, I know that. And they changed it to make him be this nefarious bad guy and be the heel like that he's portraying. And I just thought, like, in terms of simplicity and like, and a change it from what we're used to, The Rock's hands down is just like, it's just superb in terms of getting that reaction out of people.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, absolutely great points from Andy. Mark actually took a very good point that I didn't even think about. The crowd only sang parts of Randy's entrance. They didn't go full whole hog, start to finish, like they do with Cody's. So again, very good call and very good point there from Mark.
Also, controversially, I don't think Voices is his best theme tune.
No. I prefer his previous one.
Hey, nothing you can say. Amazing. That's like, to me, that's better than Voices personally, but I don't want to get a copyright strike because it's that close, obviously.
So there is actually a question further into the quiz about wrestling theme tunes previous. So keep your eye out for that. Let's have a look at the poll. What's the poll saying? There's 4 votes and all 4 are for Will Ospreay's Assassin's Creed entrance.
Hold on. Is there a reason why Ant's not on this? Is because he's just sat there spamming different accounts? Because I'm not having a look at AEW's winning every single one.
I mean, the amount of stuff we said, we're probably already going to get demonetized by the sounds of it.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
We haven't had that many beers. We are quite well behaved tonight, I think.
All I've had is a bit of mulled wine and a Bailey's tonight. I'm doing all right.
I mean, with that one, we've had 4 votes, so it's going to take a big change. So I'll end that poll nice and easy. Yeah, Will Ospreay's Assassinations Creed entrance. It was spectacular. It was my favourite entrance of the full show.
It elevated the experience.
But it wasn't my favourite entrance of the year. Next one. Let's have a look what we've got next one. So I think this one is near enough a full-blown conclusion from me, and it should be because 6 people out of the 9 people that actually filled in my questionnaire said it was Backlash France. But crowd of the year, was it WrestleMania? Was it All in London? Or was it Backlash France? This one, 30 seconds. Andy, WrestleMania, go for it.
Did I say WrestleMania? I thought I said Backlash.
Oh, you might have done. Let's have a look. Let's go.
I mean, because quite frankly, I was in WrestleMania, and I'll say it again, and it sounds like really marky, but the night one of WrestleMania was pretty quiet because it was so bleeding cold. Like that wind was awful. So I couldn't in all good consciousness say night one's was very good. Night two's was better. But I was on the rises for that one, so it was better. But yeah, I thought I said Backlash because
you did. I apologize.
No, I was just like, Jesus, it's been a long day. But yeah, Backlash, like the French crowd. I'm not a massive fan of French people, I've got to say, but I thought they stepped up and knocked out the park on this one. I know there were some people who thought it was they went a bit too far and a bit much, but yeah, I thought the AJ Styles thing where the camera was bouncing because of how loud they were, I thought that was really cool. They just absolutely smashed out the park. I can't say more than that. I thought the UK was great at Money in the Bank the year before, but France was loud, man, and like up there with like Puerto Rico when they had Backlash as well.
Yeah, camera shaking to me was just absolutely crazy. To our French viewers, we do apologise.
I don't apologise.
Andy's views are his own of wrestling royalties.
France, we love you. We do. We love you. I love you.
Me and the guy below me with the hat on, we like France.
That's what we invited previously.
I'm a big fan of France, me personally. Yeah, they've always been all right with me, France. I'm last time I was in France, I was walking along, and I was talking to my mate, and some girl said, "Are you guys from England?" And we said yes, and I think they were referring to Brexit, and they went, "Oh, we miss you," and I thought that's just so lovely.
They didn't spit at you.
No, that's what I mean, and I said to her, I said, we miss you guys too. And that was that, and we walked on. I just said that was my last interaction with French people, and so yeah, so they're over with me now, France. So there you go. How's All In winning? Anthony, show your face. Get out! I don't see him in the back end, but he might be stealthy. He's doing something. But
he's not. He's on his other accounts. He's on his gaming account and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Is he fudging the numbers?
Right. He's doing a dog.
Yeah, that's. And if you can't win normally, mate, it don't count. It don't count.
I mean, Sam, you've got to sort of promote All in London now. You've got your 30 seconds. Go for it.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't think about this one as deeply as you guys. I completely forgotten about Backlash. And yeah, I think with All In, it's because I was there and because I felt it. And with Backlash, it was a great show, and France did really, really well. But because I was there, and I'll say it before. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nothing is better than an English wrestling crowd. No one is as rowdy as we are. No one does it like we do. France, you were good, but we did it better.
And I mean, you're going to get hit with baguettes everywhere you go now in France.
Good. I love baguettes, and they miss me.
I mean, I've got WrestleMania, even though Anthony put WrestleMania for this one. I don't know if he's forgotten about Backlash or he's forgotten about All In.
I'm fairly sure he didn't watch it. But I'm surprised he didn't go for All In.
Yeah, me too. But for WrestleMania, it is the biggest, I think, crowd of the year every single year for any wrestling show. It's global, beyond global's reach, because you have that many countries. I think it's always at least every state in America is there. So the crowd are there because they want to be there. They are loud. They are invested. The main event of WrestleMania, night 2, the crowd was invested from every second on there. I mean, for me, it was Backlash, but I have to put over WrestleMania. All in London, I sat and watched that live, and yeah, the crowd was very loud there as well. I don't think there was as loud as the first All In, but it was still a very enjoyable show. from a crowd perspective.
That's pretty impressive as well, by the way, because what was there, like, was it 30,000 less than the first one? And
Around that, yeah.
To make that kind of noise, like that is impressive, by the way. And that's testament to the European fans, not just the British fans, because there's the Europeans coming across.
Yeah.
The French fans that watch Backlash, I would imagine a fair few of them would have travelled across for All In. So the European crowds are loud, like, and it just. I think the interesting thing is two out of the three that have, even you count WrestleMania, it's very international crowds, these three. It's not just the week-on-week American crowds, because I think outside of Chicago and maybe Philly, like, there's a lot of places that are quite quiet week-on-week. So to get that injection of international, I think you can see why they want to take their products elsewhere, because it looks great on TV. It sounds great on TV. You get a lot of money from it. So no surprise that all three of them are international. But fair play to All In if that's the winner, I guess.
Salty.
Just a tad.
We know what popcorn is.
Again, All In is absolutely leading the way with 80% of the votes.
It could be
I think is Dom with the Hey Boys.
Yeah, it's very Dom, that, isn't it? It's yeah.
Yes.
Dom, come on, show your face as well. Come on now.
But yeah, with that one, 80% of it, AW All In. I'm not technically surprised by that one, because it seems to be very AW favoured voting. I'm just having a look. Next one we have got, there is a good couple of contenders in this one. It's Match of the Year. This is a big one. How's the tea, Dom? Have you got any left yet?
How's it going there, Batista?
Got an intravenous tea drip.
No, he can't. He doesn't, like, he's got the boxes. He's just going to make a fort with his boxes, and he's going to sit in that fort and hide. And Emma's going to be like, Dom, you've got to come out of the fort. And he's like, no, I can come out of this fort anytime I want. I just don't want it.
Just for hot water.
Is it bad if my first thing that I thought of was he's got himself a teepee?
A teepee with actual tea.
An actual pee.
Yeah, because you can't leave.
So the fourth match, it's Charlie Morgan versus Alex Windsor. I think that was an Eve match. In all honesty,
written all
that's Sam, Mark trying to put the poll together. Charlie Morgan versus Alex Windsor. The only picture I could actually find was from a completely different show, but it is the same two people in the photo. Obviously, we have got CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. We've got Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay from, I think, it's Dynamite this week, because that was Dom's.
No.
And then we've got Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. So for this one, that was Sam's. Andy went for Drew versus Punk, which that was my pick. But I will go for Darby and Ospreay, just because I've watched it yesterday, I think it was. And yeah, I'll start with this one, and then it'll give you guys a minute or two to think about yours.
Okay.
So, Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay. Two people that I think that the AW roster could be built around, going head-to-head in a singles match on free TV. Two people that will put their bodies on the line. They are both very fast-paced workers. Some of the spots they did was absolutely incredible. Counter, reversal to the counter. The Styles Clash off the apron to the outside. Darby Allin's body must have been battered from that. It's two people that I think further down the line are going to be AEW World Champion at some point.
I watched it twice, Dan. I thought it was so good. I watched it twice. Honestly, I watched it once, and because I felt guilty because I looked away a couple of times to, like, I don't know, talk to Jess or like I got a Twitter notification or whatever, I went back and watched it a second time, and it was even better the second time. It was one of them matches, one of those you watch twice matches. You watch once and just kind of let it wash over you, then you kind of watch it mindfully the second time. Just great, awesome. Can't wait for them to do it again. The spoiling is at the moment a little bit AW with the Ospreay stuff, because we've had and with the Derby stuff, because like we've just had Derby versus Claudio on Collision, and that was epic, and it was in the Hammerstein ballroom as well. What more do you want? But I think with like some of the Ospreay stuff they're doing at the moment, it's like we've had a couple of Ricochet matches with him now, and they've been wicked. I think they kind of blew the Ricochet load a little bit early there, personally, but they've still been great TV. And that, like the one we've just had this week, they really subverted us as well. So they've been smart. So I can see why a lot of people have gone for that. Like, it doesn't come close to me for mine, but I can see why that's a lot of people have responded to that one.
Yeah. Sam, go for it on this one. You've got Roman versus Cody in your 30 seconds. Starts now.
It's just because this match made me feel like a kid again. Because it was so Attitude Era, and because it was so, and it was well done as well. It wasn't just it was a big silly schmoz, but it wasn't just the schmoz for schmoz's sake. It had all the right beats. Like the whole Rollins thing, that particular callback, that's gonna mean so much. But ultimately, it was WWE listening to the crowd, not being contrarians, and they sent the audience home happy and the viewers.
Yeah, agree with all of that. Andy, are you going to fight back for your Drew versus Punk?
Yeah, I just think that this did a lot of different things for WWE. I think this is what was needed to kind of put a little bit of legitimacy back into Hell in a Cell. The match in general, I thought it did a great rehabilitation act on that. I thought it did a great rehabilitation act on CM Punk, because I think it proved a lot of people wrong when they didn't know how it was going to be. Not necessarily wrong, but this is CM Punk, how we want him to be in this kind of day and age. And I just thought this is the greatest blow off to a trilogy that WWE's had in quite a long time.
Yeah. I've streamed it. There was a few spots in the match which I winced at quite visually.
Yeah.
Was
that
it the
small of the back onto the stairs, like Drew McIntyre's back?
That Claymore. Yeah.
Oh yeah, jeez. Oh,
I was trying to find a clip of that, and I just couldn't find a clip or a screenshot of just that bit, because Drew's back the next day must have been sore as hell.
You know, if I ever go rest... Sorry, Dan, go on.
Now I was just about to say, Jake has just put in Drew versus Punk, surely, right? I mean, Andy's put up a very good fight for that one, so we'll see.
Yeah, if I ever go looking for wrestling clips, by the way, guys, YouTube's algorithm just always feeds me Titus World Slide. It just knows me. It knows I'm going to click it. It just knows. So I just lose myself for an hour watching that on repeat. So I can't go looking for wrestling clips. I went looking for Sting versus Triple H the other day because I love that feud. I'm the only person in the world who does. But again, Titus World Slide. It's like, here we go again. Like, there you go.
I will say, by the way, I almost put in a shout for Match of the Year. It wasn't North Wrestling. Really early on this year, they actually had Leon Slater versus Speedball Bailey at North Shields. You can see that match for free on YouTube. So if you get a chance, go watch it. It's absolutely incredible. It's very fast paced, as you'd expect. It's two high flying guys that are just moving very quickly around the ring. But it's about a 15-20 minute match, and it is absolutely spectacular. So definitely go check out that match on YouTube. You can see the entirety of it. I can't recommend it highly enough. I just didn't know if a lot of other people would have seen it, but probably similar, I guess, to the Morgan one from Eve. Unfortunately, I don't think we can kind of do it as much justice as Ant would be able to do it.
No.
But quite frankly, you can go watch a lot of the Pro Wrestling stuff, and you're not going to be disappointed. It's always a good night out, and also it's always a great event. So if you ever get a chance, go see it. Yeah,
that's Eve Pro Wrestling. Dan Reed, who does run and promote that company, does pop on the AEW streams quite regularly with Ant. So if you do want some proper insider book of wrestling knowledge, it is well worth checking them streams out.
On what channel, Dan?
On Gimme, yeah, always.
Jake, Don't even go there. I love that feud. It was 20 years too late, and the WrestleMania match. Yes, the wrong person went over, but for me, finally getting to see Sting in WWE and doing all that it made like 12-year-old me very happy. So that's why I love it. Those segments where he's like putting the people in the crowd, in the audience, and like when he was menacing Triple H, that was the stuff I really enjoyed. Classic stuff.
Yep. WrestleMania 31.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Drew versus Punk, Hell in a Cell, clear winner, 82% of the votes, with Roman and Cody getting 9%, and then Morgan and Windsor 0%, Roman and Cody 2. Ospreay, Darby Allin 9%, Roman and Cody 9%, Drew versus Punk got 81.
Fair play.
Yeah. Next one. Let's have a look which one it is. This one's quite a fun one. There is quite a few in there as well, so we might have to do semi-finals and finals. It is, next one after this one. We've got Faction of the Year. We've got Judgment Day, Wyatt 6, The Elite, which is a different iteration every 2 weeks, as far as I can tell at the minute. And then we've got the OG Bloodline.
Oh, no new Bloodline. Ooh.
With this one, Dom and Jack, Mark and Zamir all put the Judgment Day. So we're going to we don't know which versions we want. So I'm just going to class Judgment Day as a general, whether it is with Damien Priest like it was at the start of the year, whether it is a bit later on after he's been kicked out, but Judgment Day as the faction. Andy has put Fraxion, which is Nathan Fraser and Axiom.
I said that was tag team. I said that was tag team.
Yeah.
I said Wyatt 6.
Sorry, Wyatt 6. Yeah, Wyatt 6, 30 seconds. Here we go. Go for it.
Yeah, probably for the same reasons that Sam said about the debut, really. I just think they're like them announcing themselves in. I don't think we've seen the best of them so far, but I loved all the kind of getting back into the Bray, like White Rabbit stuff where you had to kind of like go through the Q arcades and understand it, and the level that people went back into it. And it brought people like Dom back into wrestling. And I think it's one of those factions that's desperately needed because you just want something different, not just a wrestling group, just someone who can bring in a different audience.
Yeah. I think that they've been good since the debut. Debut was amazing. Since then, good. Okay. They haven't got back to that absolute peak level yet. But you look at the individual characters, and I think Joe Gacy and even now Dexter Loomis is looking a lot more solid performer in between the ropes. Sam, for this one, you had the OG Bloodline.
Yeah.
So 30 seconds. Time starts now.
So from the day the OG Bloodline broke up, they've been destined to get back together kind of as baby faces. But the fun of it was seeing it happen piece by piece, a little bit like when they brought the Shield back together. Like as each of them came back, as Sami Zayn came out to help out so-and-so, as Roman then came out to help out so-and-so. As they did that, it was just great. That there's a lot more value in bringing them back as baby faces, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of versions of the Bloodline. We've got the OG Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call them. But the OG Bloodline, now they're back together, I think they are going to be the dominant force again if they do take on Bloodline 2.0 again further down the line, maybe individual matches at WrestleMania or something. Don't know. Could go loads of different ways, which I think that's why I think 3 years we've had the Bloodline on the screens, but we are still invested in this story.
Yeah. And because the story has evolved now. It's because like when Sami got attacked Roman and got kicked out, that was it for the end of that story. Then we had something different. But now, like with all the water under the bridge, and they were always going to do, like, they blew the Civil War load way too early at Money in the Bank in London. They should have saved that particular tagline and T-shirt for what they're doing now. But yeah, it's there's so much they can do now that they've got that, and it bleeds into other things as well, with like McIntyre and Rollins being a bit frustrated that they're back together, and but it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do, because what happens now? Does Roman go after the big one again? Obviously, he's going to at some point. If he fails, what does that look like? If he wins, what does that look like? Does he go back to his old ways? Like, there are rules now, there are parameters in place. Roman can't do what he used to do to Sami and the Usos. They won't tolerate that. So how does that work with his character? Because there was a moment in was it War Games where he just kind of ordered Sami out, and Sami thinks about getting mad at him for a second and then doesn't do it because they've got to be on the same page. That was really clever. Like all the emotion on Sami's face in one go, it looked like it was trepidation, but if you watch it back, Sami has this little flash of anger, this micro expression of anger.
Yeah.
Then calms himself and goes, and it's like, that was brilliant by Sami Zayn. But so if Sami let it go on that occasion, is he going to let it go on the next occasion? Because here's the thing with wrestling: the only reason anyone is ever friends in wrestling is to fall out and fight later. That's it. So, do we see, like, we didn't see that with the Shield? The Shield all just kind of went their separate ways. But how does the 2.0 of the OG bloodline?
Yeah, further down the line.
Where does it? Yeah, what's it going to look like at WrestleMania? That's what I want to know.
This is it. This is where the intrigue comes in. This is where we're not bored of this story. And another story that I'm not personally bored with is the Judgment Day. So for the Judgment Day, they have evolved as well themselves from the original sort of iteration with Edge. Now we've sort of got a little bit of a fight between people in the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Finn Balor. There is some very good back and forth of snide comments being thrown at each other, but they've held a lot of gold this year, individually and as a tag team. So for me, they've had such a good year as the faction.
Yeah. Trouble in Paradise as well. Yeah, it's Balor's time. I love that I love how they lost Rhea Ripley and they lost Damian Priest. And now all of the vultures that were circling are now circling each other. That's just so smart. But I do think it needs to be Balor's time. The whole reason they put Balor in Judgment Day is they wanted to kind of use his Bullet Club cachet. So that needs to be the next level for Judgment Day. They need to go down that road. They're already like, they need to really lean into the Bullet Club stuff, and something comes with Bullet Club. Success and gold always follows Bullet Club, and Christmas jumpers. But there's something else that always follows them as well, and that's a curse. The Bullet Club curse, where they turn on the leader when the leader outlives their usefulness. They are the orcs of professional wrestling. And I can't wait to see. I want Balor to have his time in the sun leading the faction and then get ousted. And if you can get ousted, by the way, by AJ Styles, that'd be brilliant. It'd just be like New Japan all over again. But let's see what happens.
Because that's not here, we'll just have a sort of quick chat about the Elite. They have added a couple of new members in Kazuchika Okada and Jack Perry. They've had a little bit of an up and down year as the Bucks, I think.
Yeah.
They had the gimmick where there was the sort of cowardly heels where they didn't want to sort of wrestle at all. And to me, the Elite have been a very good faction, but I don't think in terms of the full year they've been on the level of the White Six, the OG Bloodline, or the Judgment Day.
They're not even close.
So the thing is with the Elite, like, and obviously, I don't watch AEW every week, but I do try and stay on top of things. But it seems to be that Okada, who came into the business and obviously was touted to potentially be joining WWE as well, seems to be more gimmicky than we've ever seen in terms of like comedy style of things. And I actually thought the best thing the Bucks have done recently is obviously with this stuff that's going on. I know it's quite divisive with John Moxley and the group. The the Bucks kind of going, we're not getting involved in that and just leaving the
Yeah.
arena, I thought was kind of cool and like it was quite smart. So they've had their moments, but as you say, I don't know if you could hand on heart call them the best faction of the year when they've not done too much together. They've kind of been in and out. A lot of it's been their own separate things, whereas you'd argue with the other three, it's always tied together, which is kind of cool. And also with the Judgment Day, it's interesting that I don't think any of the original members are there. And everyone there at some point has fought members of the original Judgment Day.
Yeah. I thought that the other day. I'm thinking, I feel like with the Okada point is so good. They brought Okada in, to be like this conquering hero. And I think turning him heel and aligning him with the Elite was a massive mistake. I feel like with Okada, look, it does pop me when he does it. It can be funny sometimes when he does it. But I feel like with Okada, I'm just waiting for him to say bitch. Like every now and then that he might walk off screen and then like the interview will carry on, then he'll come back and go bitch, and it is funny, it is good, it's puerile, but it's funny. But I'm like, I would have liked to have seen the Okada who needs no friends, the Okada who
Rainmaker Okada,
who's just so like, I know they're building to that, but I'm like,
it's very Vince WWE what he's doing, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Like, and that's not like Okada's got this aura, and they've really diluted him by sticking a nothing championship on him, just leaving it on him for a million years, so everybody forgets he holds it. And by the way, if you leave a championship on somebody like that and have them hardly ever defend it or wear it or talk about it, it ceases to exist. It becomes the 24. Yeah, it becomes the 24/7 championship. Now they're having the tournament now, and someone else is going to win it. Hopefully, if Okada continues to hold that, then they might as well get rid of that title. It's pointless. And so I'm really hoping someone else wins it and makes it relevant. But they need to rehab Okada immediately, and that means a face turn, bring back the Rainmaker, and as Kenny Omega is coming back on the horizon. Tony Khan, I think, don't blow the load straight away. Build.
Yes.
And let's have that. Let's have Okada. Was it Okada Omega 6? Will it be when they do this? Yeah. So let's make that mean something. Let's not immediately do it on an episode of flipping Rampage or something. Let's do it, and let's do it well. I'm done with the Elite right now. I love Andy's point about the Young Bucks getting out of Dodge because a bigger, scarier team had arrived. That's actually really smart. And Jack Perry, this version of Jack Perry that we're getting as well, heel Jack Perry has been great, but this exhausted and frustrated Jack Perry we've been getting in the most recent weeks, who doesn't know who he is without the Elite. Now that's a character. That's something we can work with. And one thing we've been screwed out of at Wembley twice is Jungle Boy's theme tune, by the way, Tony Khan. So can we have that back, please?
Maybe sort of further down the line.
Further down the line, of course.
Yeah.
He turned heel, Dan, before we went to All In that first year. So we never got to go, whoa. Anyway.
I mean, for faction of the year, the Bloodline, I think, is the one that probably should have won it. And it's won it with 33% of the votes.
Good.
The Elite and Judgment Day were 25 and the White 6 with 16%.
That's the closest one so far, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they'd have booked the White 6 a little bit better, we might have had them a bit higher up in the rankings. But WWE has named The Rock acknowledging Roman as the SmackDown moment of 2024. That's another big moment that we've completely missed on ours. Speaking of pointless titles, they could be making a tribal chief title or something for WWE. That just sounds ridiculous for me.
Yeah, you don't need a belt for that. Like, I think that's just fans on the internet not knowing, who are so conditioned for it being about belts. I think like the Eula Fowler is basically that.
I think there's a rumor going around that WrestleVotes has put out and that there is going to be a belt involved.
But
as you say, just use the Eula Fowler. I don't understand why you need it if that's what the whole feud's about.
The story
is about the Bloodline.
Yes, the story is good enough to not be about a championship. If The Rock and Roman Reigns do face each other at WrestleMania for the title of Tribal Chief, there does not need to be a belt. Have the belts being wrestled for by other people. Have the Rock and Roman Reigns. If you want to do it, WWE, now's your time. Ain't no one going to push back this time. But like, it doesn't need a belt. It just needs to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns for being head of the family. Great story. You've been building it for years. Pay it off. You don't need a shiny bauble for it. It's like Rollins and Punk don't need a belt either if they go at Mania. No. They don't need it. That's a good enough story. I'll watch them wrestle on every pay-per-view between now and Mania if you want, guys. That's fine. Doesn't need a belt. Get other people the belts, other people involved in the belts. Let the storyline be the storylines. Yeah, Drew.
Drew and Punk in the Hell in a Cell. There was no belt anywhere near that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Someone like Gunther.
Yeah.
Gunther needs a belt. Cody needs a belt. The other guys, not so much.
Yeah. This one, again, we've got 6 different teams that have been put forward for this.
Who hold on. Who's put Ms. Truth down?
Awesome Truth.
Yeah.
Zamir Dixon. And it's a person that's just started following us, so I wanted to make sure that his views was sort of brought on. We had DIY mentioned a couple of times. We had Judgment Day a couple of times. Maximum Male Models, or MXM as they're called now. Fraxian, Butts, GOD.
I should have voted for MXM. They've been absolutely brilliant. I can't believe as well, like WWE, it was such an awful gimmick in WWE, but they've taken it to Ring of Honor. And my God, have they been clever with it? But
yeah. Well, I mean, you put Guerrillas of Destiny.
I regret it.
If you regret it, you've got 30 seconds. Put over MXM now.
Okay, go. Right, yeah. It's just like they've turned trash into treasure. In WWE, it was a rotten gimmick, probably because they had LA Knight involved and he was miscast in that role. But in Ring of Honor, they're really leaning into it. They're really committing, and it's so funny. But like both of them are great wrestlers. They always have been. But they are having so much fun in that gimmick. And it's all about them selling their clothing lines and using wrestling to do that. And it's just really funny, and I'm enjoying it.
I mean, you said LA Knight was in there. I thought it was always Max Dupree.
Oh, yeah, and no, he's had many names as that young man.
Eli Drake.
Eli Drake, yeah. Dummy, yeah.
And I mean, this one, it's going to take a little bit of convincing for me, but Fraxian, Andy, go for it.
Well, I'm just going to say, if anyone watches NXT, you'll have seen the quality of matches that Fraxian was putting on. I think what started out as a just throw 2 guys together has turned into absolute gold. They week in, week out are putting in great shifts. There's always this storyline of, are they going to break up? Are they going to push it too far because they have singles matches and tag team matches? But they always find their way to win. And just seeing the 2 of them and the energy level that they bring to every single match, they are going to go quite far, and I think they'll now stick them together, move them up to the main roster.
Yeah. Again, for me, they are 2 people that when the WWE had the Cruiserweight division and their own show, these are 2 people that I think would have been an absolute highlight of that show. Mm-hmm. If they do a little bit further down the line when they bring them up to the main roster, mid-card, Cruiserweight title, back at Attitude Era style, where they are still an integral part of the show, rather than having their own separate show, I think would be a very good way to really accentuate their style of wrestling.
I'm going to be devil's advocate, and you're both going to hate me. I have to fast forward their backstage segments, because if I hear Nathan Fraser say the word amigo one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. I think both of them are insanely talented. I want both of them to stop talking, but I prefer them as single stars, I have to say. And I can't wait for the inevitable heel turn to see them fight each other again, because they put on clinics against each other when they had that, like 6 matches thing. So, again, no one's friends in wrestling unless they're going to fight. And I think them 2 could one day put on a WrestleMania match against each other. I think they're the next Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, 2 people who are destined to do it together, but also destined to fight as well. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens as well. I think that's their destiny. And I now want to see the darkness. I'm sick of the bromance fight.
But it's that I like the uneasiness, like
yeah,
kind of
me too.
But
Me
I
too.
also would say Nathan Fraser, by the way, is basically wrestles the way that Seth Rollins wrestled 15 years ago, but he doesn't have the charisma of Seth Rollins. And I know obviously he was trained by him, but I just think he's fantastic. And I think Axiom as Axiom rather than A-Kid, one, it's a better name. Two, it's a better gimmick, right? It gives him something a little bit to hang his hat on. But yeah, just watch their matches as a tag team. I do think they are spectacular, and I think they've just been voted Sports Illustrated best tag team as well.
I personally, I think. Sorry, Dan, I was going to say I think the Axiom thing is a great name, but the gimmick doesn't work for me. He's a superhero luchador genius. I think they need to pick a lane and stick with which one they're going to go for. But my problem is the minute they stick a mask on someone and make him a luchador, it's a risky business. But Axiom's a great name, and aspects of the gimmick are good, but I don't know. It just there's something that isn't clicking for me, and I want it to click because he's so good, and I'm a big believer in him as a guy as well. Dan, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're okay. I mean, I've seen him as A-Kid in the ring in person. I've seen him as Axiom, and both times I was blown away by the skill. I think with the Axiom character, it's easier to get away with him not on the microphone because I don't think as a talker he's the best.
No.
But having someone as his manager, I think would elevate him. I always think of Andrade and Zelina Vega. That sort of dynamic would be a very good way to really boost Axiom's singles career.
Yeah, I'm of the view that I think there needs to be some fire because like their promos, like when they're backstage and with the flat acting and it's really hard to watch. But I think if there was some passion, if there was some fire there, some hatred, some anger, they could actually that gives them something to work with. Because the whole amigo thing, it's like I can't do it. I have to fast forward it now. It's almost like Nikita Lyons has come on screen. I have to quickly fast forward before she talks quick. But it's getting like that. So I don't know. But that to be fair, in NXT, if I watch your backstage promo, that's a real compliment.
Yeah.
By the way,
I mean, for me, I actually put Awesome Truth on this list. So I'll give myself my 30 seconds. You're looking at two performers, The Miz and R-Truth, which are absolute veterans now. And they are still probably one of my favourite teams to watch as a interaction between the two. R-Truth, probably the funniest guy in wrestling, definitely in WWE, especially for his age as well. And then The Miz being the despicable heel that doesn't really like to get in the ring. But put them together, you've got absolute magic, even if it's only for a minute or two at a time. For that one, Mac's been absolutely fantastic. He's been doing both polls. Tag Team of the Year semi-final number 1, we had DIY, Tamatonga and Tonga Loa, and then Awesome Truth. The winner was DIY. Absolutely devastated.
it's only a matter of time before they fight again as well, because it's them two.
But then for semi-final number 2, we've got the Young Bucks, MXM, and Fraxium. 50% of the votes each are going to Fraxium and MXM.
Was that just me and Andy?
Probably.
Threat match.
Oh, let's do it, yeah. Hey, but I'd pay for that. I'd watch that, I'll tell you.
So we've got DIY heading into the final of the tag team. And at the minute, we've got 6 votes, and it's now gone 33% all the way down.
Come on. Who's voting for the Young Bucks, man?
Yeah, seriously. Who's voting for the Young Bucks in 2024? Anthony.
And is probably a lurker.
How could you even justify that? It's not even true. They're not even the best tag team in AEW.
And now the Young Bucks have just snatched it at the end of there. Yeah, shocker.
Yep.
By doing what? Going bald
no
race?
idea.
Anyway.
So we've still got a couple more slides after this one. But but it's the two big ones. It's the female of the year and male of the year. We've got 6 for each. So this one is going to make it a lot of work for Mark shortly. I do apologise, Mark. But we'll get there. And again, don't forget, we have got the quiz afterwards, which we will try and fly through that because we know people want to get to bed.
I don't know what bed is.
No, me neither. So we're going to give it another. Let's give it another 30 seconds again.
All right, close it now. Close it now.
I mean, the books have only got 1 vote. DIY have got 5 votes.
I'm voting for DIY just to spite the Young Bucks.
I've got to say, we haven't actually spoke about DIY, and like anyone who knows me will know that I'm an absolute mark for DIY.
Yeah.
And both Johnny Gargano and Sebastian, but I just couldn't hand on heart say this has been their best year because I think until they obviously won the tag team championships, and then they were used as a way to move them onto the new bloodline, which I thought was pretty. It's reprehensible because they're better than that, but I also have enjoyed their heel turn and the kind of slow move back into the darkness. So I'm happy if DIY win it. Absolutely, I just think they've had better years, but hey, yes. I'll take it.
I think even the year where they feuded was an unbelievable year for them because they just had banger after banger together as a team and individually. So here we go. Female of the year. We've got a good selection. Heavily WWE on there. But you've got Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Chelsea Green. And then from AEW, you've got Toni Storm. I've picked the timeless Toni Storm because that's obviously been the majority of the year for her. And then from Ring of Honor, you have got Athena.
I think Jake's right, by the way, Dan. Like we did miss. I think we've missed a trick without Mariah May. I think the thing with Mariah May is she only kind of blossomed after All In, so I think she might have missed the boat. She's been amazing, but Toni Storm, if we compare them, Toni Storm was amazing for months and months and months before that. So it's probably why. And same with Athena too. I have no idea why Bianca Belair's on there, but for the rest of them, Jesus, this is gonna be tough.
I mean, Anthony put Toni Storm on there, so I think he was thinking the story with Mariah May, again, has been an integral part of AEW's women's division.
Oh, she's amazing, yeah.
It was just too small of a chunk of the year to be of the year candidates.
Let's do our 30 seconds, because I'm a fan of all of these. Again, you know, I've been sick of Bianca Belair for about 2 years now. I think Mariah May is amazing right now, but the other guys, the other 5 of them, I'm actually torn because they've all been so brilliant, and they always are. So let's do. I'll let you pick who's going first, Dan.
Well, I was going to say a little fact before we get to Sam talking about Athena is what was their previous name in NXT?
Ember Moon.
Ember Moon. And I actually called my second cat Ember because when she debuted on the main roster, her hair colour was sort of like the deep red, like we've got in the background here at the minute, up here. Sort of, it was a metallic deep red and it was the same colour as my car, so I named the car Ember.
I thought you said I named my cat Ember, then I realised, I was like, hang on, metallic? Oh, it's a car? Okay, fair. Yeah. It's a good name. It's a good name. I like it.
My first car was actually completely black, and it was just after Paige debuted on the main roster, so I called it Paige. And my current one is dark blue, so it's named after Mercedes Moné.
I kind of like that. Is it a Mercedes though, Dan?
No, Range.
Oh, I was going to say you and Mark with this Gimme a Whole Year money are something's going on. But anyway. Right, is it me to do Ember, Athena?
It's Athena, but Mark has put Ember. He's not even sorry. Go for it.
You're fired, man. Again. But no, she's been Ring of Honor champion, and she's been locked to Ring of Honor television for a couple of years, and that's just been exactly right for her. You've got to pay if you want to see that content. Her feud with Billy Starks, has been going on for over a year, and it's the best women's feud in wrestling right now. It's bloody brilliant. The matches have been brilliant. The character work every week has been amazing. She's just incredible, and she's a star. And I went over my 30 seconds deliberately because Athena deserves that. She's just been insanely good.
Don't worry, Mark. You're not the only one that doesn't see any of it.
That's the joke, Mark.
It goes straight from the YouTube account.
Jam on toast tea bags, apparently.
Yeah, that's where it all goes.
Yeah.
That must have cost a fortune, all that too.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me with Dom though. Who are you picking on this one, Andy? Are you going to go with Liv or are you going to go for Chelsea? Chelsea Green, go for it. 30 seconds.
Andy, you've got to commit. You've got to do a Samantha Irving.
No, I'll let you do that afterwards. Yeah, I would say Chelsea Green. I just think in terms of what she brings to the women's division is a bit of a throwback to the kind of diva era, and it's a bit of a palate cleanser. I just think there's always space in the roster for that kind of comedic side, but she's also proven that she can take some pretty nasty looking bumps as well. And I think she got a just reward when she won the first ever United States Women's Championship as well. It was very well deserved, and long may it continue.
Do you know what I love as well? I was going to say, just to what Andy was saying there, what people don't get with Chelsea Green as well is she's earned her stripes in the industry. She's been everywhere. She's been to TNA. I don't know if she's been, I think, has she done some time in AEW? I can't remember. But she's like...
Only very briefly.
Very briefly. But she was Laurel Van Ness in TNA, and like her character work was amazing. Watch the first All In, and you have a moment where she's Chelsea Green, but the Laurel Van Ness persona is the hot mess, which is what her theme tune is all about. Is the hot mess gimmick? The tries to take control of her and takes control of one of her arms, and it's incredibly silly and incredibly hammy. But I think people think with Chelsea Green is because she's so beautiful, she's only there because she's a dolly bird, like the Nikki Bellas or like the Eva Maries, and that's just not true at all with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is legit, and Andy mentioned like when she was taking bumps as well. Like she can do it in the ring. Like her gimmick right now is that of a Karen and a bit of a cowardly heel. But like even as a babyface, like she can go, and she doesn't get enough credit. And I can't wait to see what WWE do with her.
Have you heard her like new slogan or like sort of motto that she says?
Oh, what is
it? I've worked my entire life to be an overnight success.
And that's just going to fly over people's heads.
It's incredible. Like even just for that, she should win Female of the Year.
And her and her husband, by the way, are so cute as well. Like her and Cardona are together, and they're such a power couple in wrestling, and they're such they work so they're so sweet together as well. They're just brilliant.
I know, but Cardona does rip the piss out of her at times on Twitter as well.
Oh, and it's genius. And that's how you can tell they're
good.
perfect for each other because the banter they have is god tier. It's just great.
So we've had obviously Chelsea Green, we've had Athena. So let's give AEW some love, even though they've had a very good showing so far. I'll go for Toni Storm just for Ant. But yeah, I mean Toni Storm, the character that she's debuted. I think it was right at the start of the year with this Timeless character. Absolute genius, proper throwback, and basically ripping off Marilyn Monroe, but this new sort of character that she's got, I think is going to be absolutely crazy as well. But you can't not talk about Toni Storm and not talk about Mariah May as a pairing for the full year. Absolutely incredible from start to finish.
Yeah. Oh, Dan, like what? I don't know if anyone's watched this week's Collision, but there's a great moment where Toni Storm is doing her new gimmick. Oh, I'm just so happy to be here. Because if anyone doesn't know, she's pretending she's forgotten. She's like invented a fresh start in AEW, and she's pretending the whole Timeless era and her multiple title reigns didn't happen. And she's like meeting people she used to live with, like Deonna Purrazzo, and going, "Oh, I'm so happy to meet you. Oh, I'm such a fan." And and it's like her and Deonna Purrazzo have got matching tattoos. That's how well they know each other. And so Purrazzo, and it was great because it didn't break kayfabe. Like some people were staring at her confused, and like RJ City did an interview with it and just didn't point out the obvious. Where Deonna Purrazzo just was like, "What are you talking about? What weird shit are you up to, Tony? No, in the ring, you and Taya Valkyrie next week, and we're gonna think. And it's just brilliant. Like there should be more of that in wrestling. But yeah, her Sunset Boulevard gimmick was very bold, very a lot. It would have gone over a lot of people's heads. But my God, did she commit? For when she finally kind of has a mental snap and her and Mariah May go at it, that's going to be great TV. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing that's going around where they're saying it's that she's basically taking inspiration from an old Flintstones episode where Fred Flintstone gets hit on the head and he turns into a really well-spoken posh guy and he basically just annoys everyone until it wears off and then he doesn't have any memory of it. And it's exactly how this has played out.
Oh, see, this is what I hope someone knocks on the head and all of a sudden she's like, I'm timeless, because I'm getting, this is repression vibes from this. This is denial and repression from somebody who's lost her way completely and had a complete mental breakdown. So I'm kind of like, they've got to do it the right way. I think they need to lean into Tony Storm being dishonest here and not a bit crazy, because we don't want to get into Eugene territory with this.
Yeah.
It is my worry. So, but I think they know what they're doing. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, at least. Oh, is Andy all right?
I don't know. But he'll be back in a sec if he is. But yeah, at the minute on the poll, we've got Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. So we've got WWE and AEW fighting it out. 67% for Rhea, 33% for Toni Storm as of right now. And then after this, we've got the Male of the Year. Once we've got Male of the Year done, we will have the quiz and we will fly through that. We won't be spending too long on that because we're already almost at 2 hours and it's almost midnight.
Flipping heck.
Yeah. Don't forget, Matt Cardona is the first, one half of the first women's US championship holder.
He's funny, isn't he?
And again, it's so good.
It's too soon, Dan. He didn't beat Jericho at Final Battle, and I'm still furious about that. I'm furious. I love that Athena retained in the sense that Athena's still champion, is still amazing. But if Billy Starks didn't beat her then, when's she gonna? Is it Supercard of Honor, WrestleMania weekend? That's the only way. The only way they make that work now is if Cardona beats Jericho WrestleMania weekend, and Billy Starks beats. If that's why they're doing it, I'll allow it. But I'm a little bit I don't know. I'm a little bit perturbed by the Ring of Honor pay-per-view this week, last weekend.
Yeah, Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green are the first married couple to have held US titles in WWE history. Very interesting fact. Thank you very much, Mark.
Well, unless there was a gay couple in WWE, that wouldn't have been possible till they've just introduced this title.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, good fact. Good fact.
But there might not be another one. Is what Mark's saying.
I was just trying to think. Is there anyone else who could? I guess Seth and Becky could win them,
and then take not safe for work pictures and put them in a book. We're here for it, Seth and Becky. We're here for
it. So we've got Rhea Ripley now at 40%, Toni Storm at 60% on Female of the Year. I think it's Bianca Belair and Montez Ford.
Yeah, I guess Charlotte and Andrade.
Yeah.
But they'll always be the first.
Yeah. So last one of the slides, it is Male of the Year. And again, there's some big names in this one. You've got Roman, you've got Cody, Braun Breaker, Drew, Ospreay, and Sami Zayn. Out of all of the people that sort of voted for this one, there was 2 people that said Cody Rhodes, 2 people that said Drew McIntyre. But yeah, very individual on this one. Sam said Sami Zayn, going for his namesake. And he went for Cody. Anthony went for Ospreay. Jack went for Drew. Don went for Drew. Barry went for Braun. Mark went for Cody. I picked Drew myself. And I mean, Jake again, another one that's not been picked up. Gunther's not on the list.
Gunther's a great shout. Yeah, Gunther's a good shout.
But 30 seconds. Sami Zayn, go for it.
It's a weird one. This I thought who's made me feel the most this year. Who have I rooted for? Who have I cheered on the most? Like Cody was always going to be the guy, and like as Daz says there, no Seth, and Seth gets everything. He's always the guy. For me, it's like Sami Zayn is the quintessential underdog, and when he wins, it just means more than anybody else. And when he loses, he can do it and get back up. So he's such a workhorse, Sami Zayn, and he's the one I've cheered the most this year. So he wins for me.
Yeah, I can quite agree with that. Sami, I think no matter what character he's playing, he does get you in the feels every time. But do we think Andy will have a good fight for Cody? Let's see. Go for it.
Well, we finally saw Cody finish his story. I think when you look at it in totality, Cody Rhodes has been so ever present and carried a lot of WWE this year as well. Mr. Consistent. I think even Paul Heyman said in a recent interview, if you don't think Cody's been the MVP this year, you watch wrestling enough. Just purely because it's very rare that someone can take it every week, have it on their back. Yes, he's divisive, but a lot of faces are these days. I think he's done an admirable job in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to put over Cody even more, look at the reaction when they thought he wasn't going to be in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, that told them everything they needed to know. That
and then look at the reaction of when he won it as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
So many people as well were laughing and going, "It was never Cody's time. Cody's never going to." It's like, no, what they tried doing was an ill-advised way of making a quick buck. It was a corporate decision. But then when they realised how passionate people were and how invested people were in that story, not necessarily just Cody, but the story of what they were telling, they lost their insane idea. That for me, I think if anybody was still on the fence on Cody after that, then you're not paying attention. Listen to Paul Heyman.
Yeah. I mean, Mark has just put the reaction when he brought the Winged Eagle back.
Yeah.
To me, I didn't get emotional, but I did really think, how good does that look on Cody? It's a belt where probably for us three on stream and probably a couple of other people in the chat, that is the belt for everyone. And I think that is where people have wanted Cody to bring this belt back. There was rumours of it coming back after WrestleMania, but that obviously didn't come through because it's not as marketable as a toy anymore. But in terms of belts, it's got so much nostalgia for us, I think. For me, I think Drew McIntyre, let's go, 30 seconds. Drew, stories. That's all you need to say with Drew. Look at the story he's had this year with CM Punk. In terms of feud of the year, can you name a more impactful feud? Injuring Punk costing him the World Championship at WrestleMania, pretty much. And then that hellacious Hell in a Cell, back and forth, both guys getting wins. It was just an absolutely incredible year for Drew. Any thoughts on any of the other guys in there, Andy? Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you was on mute and eating.
No, it's cool. I think Braun, if you were having a category for sort of best newcomer in terms of on the main roster, I think Braun would probably win that fairly easily. Again, I think with Will Ospreay, we've seen a little bit more from him in terms of like character, like some of the feuds he's had where he's actually spoke a little bit about himself and how much he's kind of sacrificed to get there and his time in Japan and then moving across, etc. But I think with Ospreay, he's one of those guys where you can put him in the ring with pretty much anyone and you're going to get an absolute banger. Like I remember seeing back in WrestleMania at New Orleans, I think it was at 34. He was doing so many of the indie shows that there was people literally thinking that he was going to kill himself that weekend because he was just taking ridiculous bumps. I think his elbow or his shoulder was heavily strapped. and he's not slowed down in any of the years. He's still taking like ridiculous risks in the ring, and like I think he's one of those guys who's happy to leave it all out there. And in terms of someone on this list, you'd probably argue he's probably the best in terms of wrestling. You could put him in the ring with any single one of these, and the other one's probably going to do the majority of the character work. But Will Ospreay's going to carry the actual like wrestling match itself. But Sami Zayn, as Sam said, I think he's fantastic in the sense of he's like Johnny Gargano in a way where you always want to root for him. Like he makes you feel something. He's very good at emoting. Again, probably better than anyone else here. So they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and I just think you could be here all night, kind of arguing the validity of each of them. But yeah, for me, I just think Cody as an all rounder. If you're making a new promotion, Cody and probably Roman and maybe Drew are the three that you're going to base it around when you first start a new one, and then everyone else comes in after there. But I just think Cody is marketable. He knows what he's saying on the microphone. He knows what he's doing in the media. He knows what he's doing in the ring. It's very rare that you get someone who can do all of those things, and I think it's really important to base the decision off everything and not just he's very good in the ring. Yeah,
I agree with that, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit. I saw the breaking news that AW Rampage is basically gone, and I'm a bit annoyed, really. If I'm being honest, I feel like it was completely avoidable, and it's probably going to happen again. I think there's probably a feature I could write about that, which I'm certainly going to do in the new year. But I love every single one of these guys. I agree. I think every single one of them. What's amazing, right, about every single one of these guys is they've all still got a ton left in the tank as well. None of them are getting too old in years. Like I know Roman and McIntyre are a little bit older, followed by Sami and Cody. But every single one of them, touch wood, if they stay healthy, the best days are ahead of them. So there's a lot to be excited about. So I'm going to put them all over equally.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. Bron Breakker, I think, watching him on Monday Night Raw, he's been super impressive, and I think probably a couple of years down the line, he could be a world heavyweight champion. He's got the look, he's got the in-ring presence, maybe a little bit more work on the mic as an individual personal promoter, but I think he's a great Paul Heyman guy. Roman, you don't need to say anything really about Roman. He's been at the top of his game for the past couple of years, especially with this tribal storyline. Cody, as we said earlier on, look at the reaction when they took him out of that main event spot of WrestleMania. The absolute level of backlash told WWE management and the world Cody is one of the top guys in WWE at the minute. And yeah, I think all of the guys do deserve to be definitely in the conversation, and you could have a very good argument for every single one of them winning. But it's the polls that we go for, and at the minute we've got 8 votes, and Ospreay is winning with 62% of them. So rest in peace to Rey Mysterio Sr., Rey's uncle who passed on the 20th. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Best wishes and our thoughts go out to the whole Mysterio family. Let's have a look on the poll. So we've got another vote, and it's just tying up a little bit closer, 44 to 56. We're going to give it another 30 seconds before we are done on this one.
Quick, I got a vote. I was just putting out an angry tweet, which I don't often do. So, usually my tweets are quite jovial, but I put out an angry one this time. Sorry.
And just a very quick one. It's stuff I do on near enough every stream. December 22nd, if you're in the US, it is Luke Gallows' birthday.
Ah! It's a big LG.
Or Festus, if you want.
Or Doc Gallows in TNA and AWA and New Japan.
And for the lucky ones that are in the UK, like me, Sam, and Andy, it is Jamie Noble's birthday and the Great Muta.
All right.
So, the next vote, we are 50-50 Roman and Osprey. So next vote is going to be the winner.
The tension is building.
I know. It's getting very tight.
Who can get on a burner account fast enough?
See, WrestleSphere, ScreenSphere.
Oh,
what we got?
11 votes are in.
11 votes. Romans nicked it. 54% of the votes. And again, like we said earlier on, very worthy winner. But all 6 members are there. Could have been a very worthy winner.
Shit, I accidentally blocked Jake Alden by mistyping. I'm going to unblock you, Jake. Sorry. I'm sorry, mate. I don't know. I'm rigged. Blocking him again.
So we acknowledge our tribal chief as our male performer of the year.
Yeah, we do.
And what I'm going to do is share my tab because it's quiz time.
All right.
Have you got your phones ready, guys?
I've got to get the app. Hang on. I've got to get that working.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What do we need? I'm behind on this.
So don't worry. We will talk you through it. So if you go to Kahoot.it.
Oh, I think I've still got Kahoot. Do I still have Kahoot?
I've got to find it on my phone. It's the hard part. There it is.
Did I get rid of it?
If you are in chat as well, obviously, you are more than welcome to join in. It's a bit of fun, 20 questions, multiple choices. Scan the QR code or go to the website and put that game in. Pick your own name so we know who it is. And there's Andy just demonstrating. Scan the QR code. There we go. First in.
I don't know why I'm a koala with pancakes on my head, but
why wouldn't you be? Who doesn't want to be? I'm a cat in a hat.
I want to be a panda. I still have pancakes on my head. I want mine the new day.
Jake, stop exposing our rigging. Jake, but I may have voted from WrestleSphere's account and from my own, just so you know.
And ScreenSphere?
No, I can only log into one YouTube at a time, so I haven't logged into ScreenSphere.
Okay.
Don't tempt me.
Are you joining the quiz, Jake? Are you joining the quiz, Alpha Ginger?
Come on, boys. You beat me last time. You beat me
what about that big dosser who's been talking smack as well? I've seen Tyson Fury lurking in the comments. I thought you'd be
Tyson Fury. He's gone watching Grandad.
I mean, Tyson Fury is probably resting up after being beaten yesterday.
Oh, did he lose? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Usyk won on points again.
It was a good match, to be fair.
It was back and forth. There was a couple of rounds I thought it was a bit tighter than the scorecard said. Yeah. But yeah, we've got Andy, we've got Sam, we've got Mark, we've got Daz. I'll give you another 30 seconds, Jake and Alpha Ginger. If you join in, like I said, it's very quick. Scan the QR code or Kahoot.it. Pop the game pin in. I don't know if you can actually join afterwards. There we go. There's Jake.
Jake the Ginger.
So let's start. It is going to be multiple choice on each question.
I've had enough of losing this, by the way. I've had enough. So
it's the fourth one we've done. The first question is nice and simple. Who won the first Women's Royal Rumble? So once you get your votes in, or get your answers in, we will go through. So it was Asuka. Nice, easy one to start. People think it was Becky Lynch, but I think that was the third one, 2020. So who didn't get that one? It was Daz. But the faster you answer, the more points you get, and the more questions you get right in a row, the bigger streak.
On that, I guessed that quick.
It's one where if you don't know it, just guess. Question number 2. Arthur Clauset Saxton is a previous gimmick of which wrestler? Who's guessing this one?
Gosh.
And it is actually Tyler
No,
Bate.
no one got it right.
What?
Nope.
Tyler Bate, go away. Stupid name.
We are as we are. No one got that one right. Next
Couldn't have been
question.
Bloody Peacock, I know that one.
How many matches was Jade Cargill's undefeated streak in singles AW matches?
Who knows that?
How many was it?
I don't even want to know that. I'm pleased I got that wrong.
No one got it right.
No. But you also don't get any more points, Sam. You're not moving up that leaderboard.
Do you know what? Good.
Next question, because no one's moving. Here we go. This is what I was alluding to earlier on. Who had this Fire Burns before CM Punk?
Right. Surely no one's got this before me because I pressed that straight away.
It was Randy Orton.
For God's sake.
And if you watch it now on YouTube, it is weird. It is so weird to watch. So the points have closed up. It was 50 points between Jake and Andy. It's now only 21. So you did close him down. You did beat him.
Daz, if you want to keep getting it wrong, mate, that'd be awesome because I want to lose.
So again, if you answer this one quicker than Jake, you'll close them points down, Andy. Next question.
Oh, Christ.
So what was the last main event of the WWE version of Starrcade? Who's got it right? Who's got it wrong?
I don't know.
So
no,
it
everyone
was
got it right.
Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley. I think that was taped in Chicago, I think, if I remember rightly.
Who knows that? That's ridiculous. That was a bloody house show. Who knows that? 4 people were there, and they were the wrestlers.
So Colby Lopez has what middle name?
Oh,
Is it Anthony? Is it Daniel? Is it Dom? Or is it Sam?
what? This isn't mine.
And that's why I picked Colby Lopez, because he has the same middle name as one of us.
I've got one right.
This guy right here. He's got a good choice. So there we go. Andy's moved up the leaderboard.
Hey, Jake. It's like, what?
See if he can stay there. If you get another one right, you'll be building that lead.
Andy, did you know that one, like, properly?
Yeah.
How the hell? Who knows that? How do you know that? I just guessed.
So what was longer? Punk's run in AW or Gunther as IC champion?
Shit, I got that wrong.
Really? Wow.
Yep. It was, I think, about 40, 50 days longer.
I know Gunther's was 666, wasn't it? It was when he lost it.
Yeah.
Number of the
Yeah,
beast.
it was just under 2 years, I think, for the Punk's run. But it was a lot tighter than I thought. That's why I
would argue that he wasn't active for a lot of that, by the way.
Yeah, from signing to being released. Next question. True or false? So, is it true? Is it false? Was Jim Ross the very first member of the Kiss My Ass Club? False? Can either of you two name it?
No, but I was rapid at getting that one.
Is it a woman?
No.
I don't know why I've got it in my head that it was like Stacey Keebler or someone, but then I wouldn't know.
It was William Regal.
Was it? Yeah, I did know
Yep.
that. I actually did know that.
And again, Mark's pretty straight in. But yeah,
Oh.
Mark's jumped up, chasing Andy down.
Oh, Jake, I'm right behind you, mate.
Daz, if you'll get this one right before Sam does, I think you might jump ahead of him. Let's see.
Oh no.
Nice, simple, easy one. You should be able to work it out from the background.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go New Orleans because it's my boy. Got it wrong.
It was the car park in Las Vegas at the Caesars Palace.
Yes, it was. I did know that.
So is Sam moving down the list? Nope, he's not moving up it either.
He's got a while.
away a
I'm
little
not being
bit.
funny. He's got 1,000 points before he beats me. Sorry, Daz, but you. I don't think I'm winning this, Daz. But I'm. You know, if we can keep that gap, we should be all right.
So next question, halfway through. How many TLC's pay-per-view did WWE produce?
Too many.
How many is too many? It was 12. I didn't think it was that many.
I didn't get it right, so I wonder who's got that one. Come on,
Just me.
Dad.
I think I got that one.
Oh, got that one.
Oh.
Oh, Sam jumped.
Ooh, and the plot thickens.
It's getting very, very tight. Next question. Who won the very first Casino Battle Royal in AEW? And it was Adam Page. He was the Joker in the first one.
He was.
Oh,
Andy. Oh, Andy, look at those numbers.
It's my
99
AEW
points in
knowledge
it.
is letting me down.
Oh, yeah, see, I knew that one.
99 points between the top two guys.
Oh, God.
Let's see if that gets any tighter with question number 12. Who was the last European champion?
Ooh.
Oh, a couple of people got that one wrong. But it was Rob Van Dam because he unified it with the Intercontinental Championship.
You certainly
Let's
did.
see.
Oh, look at them numbers.
Ooh.
3 points in it.
Sam's on a streak.
I know, man. This is
And
the first time for everything.
53 points between the top two and 41 points between Mark and Jake. This is getting very tight. We could have a good tie for the lead if Mark and Jake get this one right. So which one of these did Charles Wright not play?
Eh?
So The Godfather played 3 of these. Which one didn't he play?
I got that wrong.
And it was the Hood Father.
What? I don't even
He
remember.
played a character called Rocky Las Vegas. He played a character called the Smirk Train. And he played someone called Sir Charles.
And did you get that one right?
No.
No, me neither. All right, well, nothing moves.
Jake.
So
Jake's
Jake
moving
moved up.
close, though.
Jake's chasing you down.
I'm on
Yes.
I think I've had the last 3 wrong.
Daz, have you gone to bed?
Maybe. Did our Truth have a song come out called Pump It Up? Yes, he did. And it's on my playlist and it's such a banger. Oh, look at that, Matt. Sam's dropping down.
I know.
Let's see. 3/4 of the way through. Question 15. Who won the very first NXT Iron Survivor match? Because I love this gimmick. It's a great match type. So exciting.
I'm pretty sure.
But who won the very first one?
I think I got that wrong. Yeah, I did.
And yeah, it was Grayson Waller.
See, Carmelo Hayes won the thingy tournament, didn't he? Damn it.
Breakout.
Yeah. Oh,
So Andy and Mark pulling away a little bit. Sam and Jake, battling it out for 3rd place at the minute. Daz pulling up the rear.
Daz has got a lot more
Respectable.
points.
So where did Cody Rhodes debut first after leaving WWE? Was it Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, or Evolve?
He's been in all of them. I don't think he'd been to Evolve, actually. Oh, no.
That was actually where he started.
Wow. I'm a massive Evolve stan as well. I don't know that.
How do you not know that then?
I don't know, because I think I remember he's running TNA because it was pretty legendary. He's running, the other 2 was legendary too, but Evolve, he must have been there not for very long.
He was there for a cup of tea, and that's about it.
Yeah. See, Evolve used to be amazing. Back to 2nd place. Well, it was nice being at the top for a while, or close to it.
But yeah, once he actually left, he appeared at Evolve 66, defeating Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, he did, actually. I did know that.
Yep. Next question. How many members of the Spirit Squad was there in total?
Oh, I can't remember.
Nice, simple question. If you was watching
I think I've gone too high.
Terrible Era.
I fast forwarded so much of this.
Is Andy dropping down the list? Let's have a look.
See, I actually knew that one.
Oh, 31 points in it.
Bloody hell! Well, we've seen how wrong this can go. Mark is climbing. God.
This is going very, very tight. Next question. How many matches did Punk have in AW?
Oh, even he doesn't know that.
So it was 33.
Damn it.
It was more than I actually thought. Let's see. Jake with 3 right in a row, but he's still not able to chase down Mark.
I'm fairly sure I'm not climbing any higher now.
71 points in it. Penultimate question coming up. Jake, if you'll get the next couple of right, you've got a very good chance of jumping right up that board.
Right. I feel like I should have got this one right.
Oh,
Did you get it right? Yep, it was meant to be a tag team match, and they pulled Nathan Jones because they just didn't think he was ready. He was a bit too green at the time, but he did make a run in. Let's have a look. Oh, no change in the lead going into the final question. This could all change. Mark has won. Where is it? He's won the last 2, I think.
No,
he's only lost this twice, yeah.
Mark's the reigning champion.
He is. Next question, last question. Winner takes all. How many WrestleManias has Michael Cole called?
That could have been. Oh,
yeah, what was by default?
But here we go. In third place, Jake the Ginger. Second place, it was Mark as a brilliant silver medal. And the winner, a true wrestling journalist, undisputed, Andy Spores.
Rematch clause, Mark. Rematch. Automatic rematch clause for 2 weeks from now on a Sunday.
Hard to go retire undefeated.
Mark's thinking, that's fine, I'll win the next one.
But yeah, that's gone on a bit longer than I was expecting and / hoping. I was hoping to be about 2 hours, but there was a lot of stuff to get through on the best of 2024, as there usually is. But again, Sam, where can we find you when you're not on Hangout?
At the moment, in my bed. But yeah, normally if I'm not here, you can find me writing for Deserto about gaming stuff, where we're kicking ass at the moment. WrestleSphere, of course. As everybody already knows about, we've got some big plans for that for the next year. Screen Sphere, we hit a major milestone. Screen Sphere, like backstage the other day. Me, Andy, and Dom have got a lot to talk about in the new year about where we go with that. So that's a lot to be excited about. So yeah, they're the 3 places. Other than here, they're the other 3 places you can find me. That's how I pay my mortgage. But yeah, over to you guys.
Yep, and Andy, yourself, when you're not on a Gimme Guys stream, what are you up to, or where can we find you?
You can see me most Friday nights on Wrestling Royalty and Gimme Guys for the Friday night features with Sam, sometimes Dan, sometimes Ant, sometimes Dom. And obviously our trusty moderator Mark is normally there too. Outside of that, same with Sam. You can see me on WrestleSphere. You can see me on Screen Sphere. Big stuff planned for 2025. And also, if you'd like to see, I will be running across in Disney World in January. So if you'd like to see my running journey, check out my other channel on YouTube, which is Roller Coaster of Running. I'll be putting up lots of content on there when I get back. And I'll be running my first ever marathon amongst other runs. So all the positivity you can possibly provide me just to get me those 26 miles would be very helpful.
Thank you very much. And what I'm going to do is copy channel ID. I'll just pop that into the chat for everyone. So got that one.
Well, thank you, sir.
Copy. So if you do want to follow any of that, the chat in the chat, roller coaster of running, it is on YouTube. So go follow that. Give him all the support. Are you doing any donations or fundraising at all?
I'm not doing any donations, but I am running the 10K part of it. So what I'm doing is I'm running a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon in consecutive days. For the 10K, I'm actually running for awareness for a charity called Enlighten the Shadows, which is a men's mental health charity, which aims to stop suicide or help prevent suicide, which is a lofty goal, but a very noble one to be going after. It's run by a very good friend of mine based out of Nottingham, but they help anyone. So if you are ever feeling like you need to speak to someone, make sure you reach out. They're available on Facebook and YouTube and all other social media. But Enlighten the Shadows, I'll be running for awareness more than anything on the 10K.
And there you go. The link is in the chat as well for Enlighten the Shadows. Yeah, it's their motto. It's your time to talk. Go check them out. And if you want to, if you can, please donate something to them as a sort of gesture of goodwill to support Andy as well.
What we'll do, Andy, actually, if you tweet that out, mate, if you do something on Twitter with that, and we'll share it from the Gimme a Hull Yeah page.
Yes.
And do it, retweet it for Wrestling Royalty as well. Then we can get a fair few thousand people seeing that.
Yeah, so, I'll be doing I'm doing a separate video for it, but I'll make sure I'm kind of bigging it up a little bit more because it's such a great cause, and I know there's a lot of wrestling fans who are very individual and sort of like seek their own solace. But it's just to let you know, if you ever do want to talk to someone, there's people there who monitor their social media, who monitor their emails, so you can reach out and they will gladly speak to you, and you can talk to them at any time. So please make sure you do. If you want to donate, that's fantastic. But if not, please use them. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And
I was just going to say, sorry, just on that topic, by the way, like even if you're not feeling like, even if you're not at that level and you're not like there where Andy is, even if it's just a case of like just talking in general, or just because you feel like it would be beneficial, you don't need to wait to get to that point before you do that. You can do that like straight away. Like me personally, like I speak to a therapist because I'm man enough to admit it. I've got no problem admitting it. I think everybody should, no matter where your mental health is. And I can't tell you how essential that has been for my. I don't know, like who I am as a person. It's certainly taken my career to other levels. It wouldn't have gone without that. But yeah, so like if you things like BetterHelp and like counsellors in your local area, I'm a massive advocate of, and I'm never going to be without it ever. So just so you know, even like people who present as confident like I do, we do that too because we see the value. Just so people know.
Yeah. And yeah, I completely agree with all of that. It is well worth just speaking out, and same with the Hot Tag Foundation. They are there to be able to sort of bring the community together, give people a friend to talk to, give someone some support if they do need it. And for myself, if you want, you can find me here on usually Monday nights doing the Monday Night Raw coverage. We always try and sort of pitch in and do the coverage of the premium live events, all the pay-per-views, if we can, if we get time, because we all have full-time jobs besides doing this, and it messes with our sleep patterns quite a bit. But yeah, I hope everyone, if I don't come on before, I don't know if I will be, but from myself, I presume from Andy, Sam, Dom, and anyone who's associated with Gimme a Hull Yeah, Wrestling Royalty, WrestleSphere, Screensphere, all of you all have a great Christmas. You have a great New Year, and you come back ready next year, raring for more wrestling.
It's Christmas Eve, boys. It's Christmas Eve now.
It's in the UK.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
So Here's to you guys, and I hope we have many more next year. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy. See you later.
This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. Well, hello and welcome to Give Me a Oh Yeah. I hope everyone there, right there in Yorkshire, is having a nice day. Bang, bang. Have a nice day. Yeah.